Chapter 1179. Pei Nanxiu was about to speak when he noticed the wound on the back of Lin Yan's hand. His expression changed instantly. "What happened to your hand? Is it my fan?" Lin Yan glanced at the wound that was about to heal. "It's not your fan. I think I accidentally scratched it when I came in from the side door. It's just a small wound, no matter what, it was caused by me." Pei Nanxiu's expression was cold as he turned to his assistant. "Go buy some medicine." Lin Yan was dumbfounded. "Huh? It's fine. It's almost healed. It's just a small wound." Pei Nanxiu looked pale. "You have to be careful in case it gets infected. Besides, it's not good for a girl to have a scar." This scandal had already made him tremble in fear. If Big Brother were to find out that Lin Yan had gotten hurt because of it, he wouldn't dare to imagine what would happen. Zhao Hongling and Duo glanced at Pei Nanxiu, who was so concerned and anxious. They were speechless. This was really hard to believe. Weren't the two of them a couple? This time, even Zhao Hongling couldn't lie to herself. How could they be so obvious? Did they think that they were blind? If they weren't a couple, why would Pei Nanxiu, who had always kept his distance from female celebrities, be so concerned about a female celebrity? The two of them hadn't noticed the small wound earlier, yet Pei Nanxiu had noticed it the moment he had arrived. How could he be so anxious? This wasn't the first time Pei Nanxiu had acted so strangely. How could they be fine? Who would believe that? Study. Lin Yan could feel Duo and Zhao Hongling's burning gazes on her. She couldn't bring herself to say anything. It wasn't what they thought. "Don't worry. I will make an announcement later to clarify that the person in the photo isn't me." Pei Nanxiu asked tentatively, "Have you thought about how you're going to deal with the public relations? After all, the photo can't be faked." Lin Yan rubbed her temples. "I know. That's why I can only announce that I'm in a relationship. I will say that the clothes are fake. Anyway, they didn't take a picture of my face. They can't be so good as to guess who my boyfriend is, right?" Pei Nanxiu replied helplessly, "Because of the shirt and the photo, I. Ahem, I look like your boyfriend. I'm afraid that even if we clarify, the fans won't believe us." However, this was all they could do for now. In the short term, the resistance from the fans will definitely be more intense. I will try my best to appease them. You must pay attention to your safety during this time. Alright, I got it. Thank you, Mr. Pei. Contact me anytime if you need anything. Cough, why are you looking at me? After Pei Nanxiu left, Duo and Zhao Hongling stared at Lin Yan with complicated expressions on their faces. Lin Yan was dumbfounded. Duo folded her arms and said, "Even Sister Ling and I don't believe it, let alone the fans." You could say that the clothes were a high-grade imitation, but those who knew the industry would know that it was real. Also, the side profile was similar. How could there be so many coincidences? You're basically rubbing the IQ of your fans on the ground. Chapter 1180. Duo placed his hands on his hips and said angrily, "Look at what you're saying. The one and only, 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 the one and only. Your boyfriend is Mr. Pei's biological brother." Lin Yan fell silent at Duo's words. He didn't expect Plenty to guess correctly. "It's over. Plenty wouldn't be able to guess it, right?" Duo stroked her chin and pondered seriously. "Oh yeah. Mr. Pei does have a younger brother. He is the third young master of JM Corporation. However, he doesn't participate in the family business and rarely appears in public. Sister Yan, don't tell me that your boyfriend is the third young master." Ahem. Lin Yan's face was as black as the bottom of a pot. Baby, your imagination can run wild. I don't think so either. I heard that third young master has a girlfriend. She's an artist from Summit Entertainment, Duo muttered. What? Third young master has a girlfriend? An artist from Summit Entertainment? Lin Yan was shocked. This single dog who treated racing as his wife actually had a girlfriend? How could her father not know? Yeah, you actually don't know? She was Summit Entertainment's top star, Xiaofan. She had auditioned with you for the role of Yeva in Legend and ended up playing Lang Mang's girlfriend. Everyone in Summit Entertainment knew that Xiaofan's backer was third young master. I remember telling you before, right? No way. Xiaofan was Pei Yutong's girlfriend? Then how did they meet? How long have you been dating? Lin Yan asked anxiously. I only know that Xiaofan used to race. Rumor has it that they met while racing. Why are you asking so clearly? Is there really something going on between you and Pei Yutong? Duo stared at Lin Yan hesitantly. You're thinking too much. Lin Yan rolled her eyes at him. Even if there was something, it wasn't what she was thinking. Wei Chinese network, who would have thought that this damned child had hidden his strength so well? He was even better at hiding than her, like father, like son. You, don't worry about others. Think about how you're going to get through this. You've been rising too quickly recently, and there are already people who don't like you. They'll definitely use this opportunity to suppress you. Plenty helplessly reminded. Zhao Hongling stared at the phone with a serious expression. Boss Chu asked me to go there for this matter. It's over. Even the boss is alarmed. However, it wasn't surprising. After all, this matter concerned Mr. Pei. The company is under a lot of pressure. Is boss really going to terminate Sister Yan's contract? Duo looked worried. Don't worry, I'll talk to Chief Chu. Zhao Hongling also felt that the situation was not very optimistic, but she forced herself to calm down and prepare for the worst. After a while. In the office of Summit Entertainment's boss, Chu Jiayao, little Zhao, you're here. Have a seat, Chu Jiayao said with a smile. Zhao Hongling didn't dare to sit down, so she apologized. I'm sorry, President Chu. It's all my fault. I didn't take good care of my artists. I know that the company is under a lot of pressure. The fans are pressuring the company to terminate Lin Yan's contract. I'm willing to bear all the consequences and resign from my position as her manager. I hope that President Chu will give Lin Yan another chance and not terminate her contract. Chu Jiayao choked and coughed. Hey, sit down. Don't be so nervous. Who said anything about punishing you? Chapter 1181. A few months ago, Chu Jiayao, Pei Nanxiu, and Lin Yan had been present at a dinner. Their boss, Pei Yucheng, had suddenly appeared. After the dinner, Chu Jiayao had intended to introduce the twin sisters from Summit Entertainment to Pei Yucheng. Who would have thought that he would discover a shocking secret? Lin Yan was Pei Yucheng's girlfriend. He had been unaware that he had introduced a woman to his boss in front of his future wife, Lin Yan. Pei Nanxiu had always claimed that he was Lin Yan's relative. He had assumed that Pei Nanxiu was just trying to fool him. He had never imagined that Pei Nanxiu would be referring to Lin Yan as his sister-in-law. Chu Jiayao broke out in cold sweat at the thought of this. Fortunately, his boss hadn't pursued the matter. Otherwise, he wouldn't even know how he had died. How would he have dared to offend his boss? Chu Jiayao tried to calm himself down as he spoke to Zhao Hongling amiably. Little Zhao, don't misunderstand. I didn't ask you to come here to punish you. After all, Lin Yan has suffered a great deal. I asked you to come here to take care of Lin Yan. Don't let her be affected. Don't worry about anything else. The company will handle it. Tell Lin Yan to focus on her work. Zhao Hongling had already prepared herself for the worst. She hadn't expected that Chu Jiayao wouldn't blame her. Instead, he would console her. She was stunned and didn't know how to react. I have already contacted the public relations department. They will cooperate fully with you to suppress the rumors. Of course, Nanxiu will cooperate as well. If you need anything, you can talk to his manager. Zhao Hongling snapped back to her senses after some time. She looked hesitant as she said, "Thank you, President Chu. However, the company is facing a lot of criticism. If we don't do something about it, I'm afraid it won't be easy to explain to the fans." Zhao Hongling couldn't be blamed for overthinking things. Although Lin Yan was popular, the other party was Pei Nanxiu, the top celebrity in the entertainment industry. Under normal circumstances, the company would definitely choose to protect Pei Nanxiu. They wouldn't allow his image to be tarnished. If this matter blew up, Lin Yan was destined to be the sacrificial lamb. Hence, she decided to take the blame herself. Summit Entertainment naturally had the ability to suppress this matter. However, a businessman like Chu Jiayao wouldn't be willing to pay such a huge price for an artist who wasn't even an A-lister. Zhao Hongling knew this all too well, which was why she was so suspicious of Chu Jiayao's unusual attitude. Chu Jiayao chuckled. He knew that Zhao Hongling was worried that the company wouldn't be able to withstand the pressure and might sacrifice Lin Yan. In reality, his boss would rather sacrifice Summit Entertainment and his own brother than sacrifice a single strand of Lin Yan's hair. Xiao Zhao, Lin Yan is also an artist of Summit Entertainment. The company will naturally do its best to protect every artist. We won't terminate our contract because of this. Don't worry, Chu Jiayao said in an official tone. Judging by Zhao Hongling's attitude, it was obvious that she had no idea who Lin Yan's true backer was. If she had known, she wouldn't have come looking for him. Chapter 1182. Chu Jiayao's words sounded dignified, but as an experienced agent, Zhao Hongling wasn't convinced by his words. "Thank you, President Chu. Thank you, but I have to apologize again. Although Lin Yan and Mr. Pei have nothing to do with each other, it is true that Lin Yan is in a relationship." To avoid unnecessary trouble, Zhao Hongling decided to tell Chu Jiayao everything. After all, Summit Entertainment strictly forbade its artists from dating without permission. Chu Jiayao made his stand clear. What's there to apologize for? Isn't it normal for artists to date? Lin Yan has done nothing wrong. Zhao Hongling was dumbfounded. But the company doesn't allow artists to date without permission. Chu Jiayao raised an eyebrow. The company has such a rule? Who would be so heartless as to make such a rule? Zhao Hongling stammered, "It's..." President Chu Jiayao was taken aback. He scratched his nose awkwardly. Really? Why can't I remember? Times have changed. What era are we in now? Why are you still doing that? I will abolish this rule." Zhao Hongling was speechless. After her conversation with Chu Jiayao, Zhao Hongling returned to her office with a conflicted expression. Duo scurried over to Zhao Hongling worriedly. "Sister Ling, how is it? Did President Chu make things difficult for you? Is he really going to terminate the contract?" Lin Yan glanced at Zhao Hongling worriedly. Chu Jiayao might not touch her now that he knew about her relationship with Pei Yucheng. However, he might use Zhao Hongling as a shield. "Sister Yan, what did President Chu say?" Zhao Hongling glanced at Lin Yan and shook her head. "It's fine. President Chu said that the company will resolve this." "What?" Duo was skeptical. "Is the company that good? In the past, there have been female artists who have tried to create scandals with Mr. Pei. Didn't the company deal with them mercilessly? At the very least, they would fire their manager." "No, President Chu has made it clear that he will protect his artists. He didn't punish me either. Don't worry. Zhao Hongling turned to Lin Yan. Lin Yan, the event is about to start. Go and get your makeup done. Don't be late. Alright, I'll be right there. Sister Ling, you've worked hard this time. Zhao Hongling turned to Duo and called her over. Duo, come here. What's wrong, Sister Ling? Why do you look so serious? Zhao Hongling quipped, I think Lin Yan is dating Mr. Pei. Duo was shocked. Sister Ling. What did you say? Lin Yan's boyfriend is really. Zhao Hongling hurriedly reminded, lower your voice. Oh. Although I was almost certain, Sister Yan refused to admit it. I thought that there might have been a misunderstanding. Sister Ling, how did you figure it out? Duo asked excitedly. Zhao Hongling mulled it over. This matter has blown up, yet President Chu didn't punish her or punish her. In fact, he even cancelled the company's rule that prohibits artists from dating in private. I can't think of any other possibility besides the fact that she and Pei Nanxiu are dating. Duo covered her mouth. President Chu actually changed the company's rules? Other than Mr. Pei, who else could make President Chu do this? Duo, you have to be more careful when you're with Lin Yan in the future. Don't let the fans discover anything, Zhao Hongling reminded her. Duo nodded furiously. Got it. I will definitely cover for her. End of the chapter. Chapter 1183. In the dressing room. Lin Yan was surprised to see a familiar face. It was the makeup artist who had done her makeup during meeting one's match. Teacher Kevin? Lin Yan greeted him hastily. Kevin, who had been staring intently at his phone, raised his head. Hi, Lin Yan. We meet again. Why are you doing my makeup? Lin Yan asked curiously. Your company hired him. Didn't you know? Kevin said. Lin Yan reckoned that Zhao Hongling wouldn't be able to hire a stylist like Kevin. Hence, she reckoned that it had to be Pei Nanxiu or Chu Jiayao. Aya, my dear, I haven't seen you for so long, but your skin is still so good. I can't even see the pores. Kevin's occupational habit acted up. He stared at her face for a while and clicked his tongue. No wonder you dare to go out without makeup. If I could do this without makeup, I'd wear makeup every day. Lin Yan coughed softly and didn't retort. Actually, she was just lazy, those photos are all over the internet. Is it true that you and Mr. Pei are together? Kevin couldn't help but ask. Lin Yan replied promptly, of course it's fake. Sister Ling has already released a statement. Mr. Pei must have refuted the rumors. Pei Nanxiu was very efficient. When she had been in Zhao Hongling's office, she had already seen the statement to refute the rumors. Initially, Lin Yan had wanted to say that Pei Yucheng's outfit was a fake. However, Pei Nanxiu had explained that the outfit wasn't Pei Nanxiu's. There had been a problem with Pei Nanxiu's outfit, so he had borrowed it at the last minute. He had also clarified that the person in the photo wasn't Pei Nanxiu. Even if the fans found out that Pei Yucheng was the owner of the clothes, they wouldn't be able to find anything wrong with it. Pei Nanxiu was right. Kevin pursed his lips and said, only Mr. Pei's fans would believe that. I don't believe that you're just trying to gain popularity this time. The man in the photo has such a figure and aura. Apart from Mr. Pei, who else in the entire entertainment industry can match him? I didn't expect you to be with Pei Nanxiu. I thought it would be Wei Xiaofan. Lin Yan's face darkened. What? Wei Xiaofan? Why are you talking about Wei Xiaofan? What kind of expression is that? Don't tell me you still can't tell. Kevin had a playful look on his face. Forget it, I'm an outsider and I can't say anything about this. You figure it out yourself. Lin Yan was about to speak when she caught sight of the trending topic on Weibo. Huh? Why did the #1 trending topic change? Initially, the trending topic had been her relationship with Pei Yucheng, but now, it had changed to Lin Yan without makeup. The most trending topic had been Kevin's post. Kevin glanced at his phone and replied to the netizens with a smile. Thanks to you, I'm on fire too. What's going on? Lin Yan asked in confusion. Although I didn't manage to capture your face, I managed to capture a few clear shots of your face. You look great without any makeup. We're all girls, so besides gossiping, we're naturally more concerned about your face and how to maintain it. Therefore, many people are asking what skincare products and cosmetics you use. I've done makeup for you before, so many fans came to me to ask about it. I see. Lin Yan had a rough idea of the situation. End of chapter. Chapter 1184. Didn't you recommend a brand to me? I told my fans about it, but my reply made it to the top of the list. Kevin shrugged. Lin Yan glanced at Kevin's Weibo post. When Lin Yan was filming Meeting One's match, I was the one who did her makeup. She used a local brand, Nature Hall. I even recommended it to her, and the effect was great. Lin Yan noticed that Kevin's Weibo account was flooded with people asking him for recommendations. Kevin grinned and waved his phone at her. What a coincidence. I didn't expect to be here to help you with your makeup today. I've already recommended all the products you told me previously. Everyone wants to know if there are any good makeup products, so I thought I could ask you about them. Lin Yan, who had nothing to hide, replied, Natural Hall's Bingji foundation is pretty good. It has a softening effect, and it's light, delicate, and smooth. Actually, I didn't go barefaced that day. I applied this foundation as well. After all, she was going out on a date with Pei Yucheng, so she had to put on some makeup. I couldn't tell at all. The effect is so natural. I will recommend it to my fans now. Kevin, who was startled, replied to his fans with a grin on his face. As he replied, he told Lin Yan, I think your company is using this to divert attention. However, you are indeed good-looking, which is why you are so popular. After Kevin replied to his fans, he began to help Lin Yan with her makeup. Shortly after, someone knocked on the door. It was Pei Nanxiu. Hey, Mr. Pei. I won't disturb you anymore. Kevin shot Lin Yan a look before he left. Lin Yan gave up on trying to explain. Mr. Pei, what's up? Pei Nanxiu placed an exquisite multi-layered lunchbox on Lin Yan's table carefully. My brother cooked for you. He asked me to bring it over to remind you to eat on time. Huh? Your brother cooked for me? Lin Yan stared at the lunchbox in Pei Nanxiu's hands as though she was staring at a ticking time bomb. Pei Yucheng hadn't cooked for a long time. Why was he suddenly back on the scene? Pei Nanxiu, who seemed to have read Lin Yan's mind, chuckled. Don't worry. My brother said that he has improved his recipe. You can try it. Lin Yan coughed. Ahem. Oh, I see, improved formula. Huh, you're not at ease at all. You sound even more worried, okay? Pei Nanxiu was helping Lin Yan open the lunchbox when Chu Jiayao knocked on the door. Oh, Nanxiu is here too. Chu Jiayao grinned from ear to ear, gritting his teeth as he glanced at Nanxiu. If this fellow had told him clearly from the start, he wouldn't have misunderstood for so long. Last time, he even courted death. President Chu. Lin Yan stood up immediately. Chu Jiayao jumped in fright and hurriedly helped Lin Yan sit down. Lady boss, please sit down. You don't have to get up. Lin Yan was speechless. Chu Jiayao rubbed his hands and reported, hee, I'm just here to show my concern. We're already dealing with the trending topic. It's not good to force it down, so we've used other content to divert people's attention. So far, it seems to be working well. If you have any other requests, feel free to ask. Nature Hall's Bingji Foundation has two types, moisturizing and refreshing. The moisturizing type is suitable for dry skin, while the refreshing type is suitable for oily skin. It also has a nourishing effect. You can use it with the Bingji Foundation makeup powder. The effect is excellent, *********, end of this chapter. Chapter 1185. Chu Jiao's attitude made Lin Yan feel helpless. No, thank you. I'm the one who caused all this. I'm sorry to have caused trouble for the company. No. It's the company's fault that we didn't discover it in time. That's why we've caused trouble for you and boss. This is a mistake on my part. We will be more careful in the future. Chu Jiao explained eagerly before he cautiously said, I didn't get a chance to explain to you what happened last time. Lady Boss, I really didn't know that you were together with Boss. That was why I tried to introduce Zhong Xiaowei and Zhong Xuaning to Boss. Please don't take it to heart. And I swear, I've never done such a thing before. That was the only time. If Chu Jiao hadn't mentioned it, Lin Yan would have forgotten about it. She coughed softly and said, President Chu, you're being too serious. I didn't take it to heart. Also, please call me Lin Yan, that's good to hear. Chu Jiao's heart finally calmed down when he realized that Lin Yan was being nice. After all, Lin Yan had flown into a rage when he had tried to matchmake his boss. She didn't seem like a nice person at all. Suddenly, Chu Jiao caught a glimpse of the food on the table. Chu Jiao's eyes lit up when he saw the delicately carved dishes. Miss Lin, did you order this? Which restaurant did you order it from? Why haven't I seen these dishes before? Chu Jiao was a glutton who loved delicious food. He had been to all the famous restaurants in the capital city and knew all the famous dishes. Lin Yan was too embarrassed to admit that he had made it. Thus, she said, the restaurant didn't buy it. It was made by a friend of mine. So it was made by your friend. No wonder I didn't know about it. The carving is so exquisite. Even the head chef of the capital city can't compare to it. Miss Lin, can I try it? Chu Jiao couldn't help himself when he saw the food. Lin Yan replied, of course. Try it. Actually, it would be good to let Chu Jiao try it first. Chu Jiao picked up his chopsticks excitedly and picked up a carrot that was carved in the shape of a flower. Lin Yan observed Chu Jiao's expression carefully. Chu Jiao closed his eyes and chewed carefully. About 3 seconds later, Chu Jiao clutched his throat. There's poison in the food. Nanshu was speechless. Lin Yan was speechless. Pei Nanshu didn't know whether to laugh or cry as he watched Chu Jiao search the room for water. He quickly poured him a glass of water. Chu Jiao gulped down a glass of water before he felt better. He panted heavily as he stared at Lin Yan. Which chef cooked this? Do you want to kill him? Lin Yan rubbed her nose. Really? I think it's all right. It seemed like Pei Yucheng's new formula had failed again. Fortunately, Chu Jiao had tried it first. Chu Jiao was stunned. Not too bad. Is this still okay? This smell almost sent me away. Is he trying to poison you to death? Which friend of yours has such horrible cooking skills? Lin Yan, you have to be careful. Is your friend also a fan of Pei Nanshu? Is he trying to take revenge on you? Nanshu was speechless. Lin Yan replied awkwardly, no, I won't. Chu Jiao replied, why not? You can't be careless. I'll get the company to investigate your friend. Lin Yan had no choice but to reply. My boyfriend. Chu Jiao was speechless. after a long period of dead silence, Chu Jiayao wiped his mouth and said seriously, "So, it's Boss Pei's culinary skills. I was too shallow. It looks like my attainments are not deep enough. I can't understand Boss Pei's culinary skills." Chu Jiayao thought, "Yeah, I was too shallow." End of this chapter. Chapter 1186. Cloud Manor. In the study, Pei Yucheng placed a stack of documents aside. He had just removed his glasses when his phone vibrated. He glanced at his phone expressionlessly. A few seconds later, he furrowed his eyebrows. A hoarse voice came through the phone. "Master Yu, speak." Pei Yucheng replied coldly. He didn't want to hear that name. However, he was disappointed. "It's eldest young Master Pei Li." The hoarse voice sounded as though it had survived a calamity. Pei Yucheng fell silent for a few seconds when he heard Pei Li's name. The man rubbed his temples gently and said, "Tell me." "Master Yu, our branch was destroyed by Pei Li. Pei Li asked me to pass a message to you." "What message?" asked Pei Yucheng. "Master Yu, your eldest son said that he would be back. He asked you and young Master Pei Qian to wait." Pei Yucheng was speechless. After a long silence, Pei Yucheng replied coldly, "Got it. There's no need to report this to the Pei Corporation. I'll handle it." "Huh? Master Yu, why aren't you reporting such a huge matter to the Pei Corporation? If something goes wrong, I..." Before she could finish, Pei Yucheng snapped impatiently, "I told you that I would handle it." "Alright, I understand." After hanging up, Pei Yucheng closed his eyes, deep in thought. All this while, he did not feel that there was anything wrong with what he had done. He just wanted to protect Pei Li and his mother, Lin Yan. However, today, he had fallen out with his father and brother. When Pei Li had been born, he had been an evolved being with terrifying evolutionary genes. Not only that, but this evolutionary power wasn't controlled by Pei Li, so it was very easy for him to lose control. When Lin Yan had given birth to Pei Li, she had been affected by Pei Li's evolved power and had been unconscious in the hospital for 2 weeks. Back then, he had sent Pei Li and Pei Qian to the Pei Corporation while Lin Yan was unconscious. He had lied to Lin Yan that the 2 children had some kind of defect and died young. Back then, Lin Yan had forgotten everything. She had been an ordinary person. If Pei Li had stayed by Lin Yan's side and lost control of his ability, Lin Yan would have died without a doubt. In addition, Pei Li's evolver abilities and genes were too powerful, and there was a group of laboratory forces eyeing him covetously. For Lin Yan's safety and the kid's safety, Pei Yucheng had no choice but to send Pei Li and Pei Qian to Pei Corporation. In the end, Pei Yucheng's decision had been correct. In the 2 to 3 years he had been in the Pei family, Pei Li's ability had been controlled multiple times, and because of that, the Pei family had suffered heavy losses. 2 superclass evolvers had died at the hands of the young Pei Li, and dozens of his peers had been injured. After that, Pei Li became a monster in everyone's eyes. Even his own brother, Pei Qian, treated Pei Li like a monster. Pei Qian's abilities were outstanding and he had outstanding control. He was doted on by everyone in the Pei family. Pei Li, on the other hand, was the complete opposite. Although his abilities were much stronger than Pei Qian's, he was easily out of control. The 2 of them had been treated at completely different extremes in their childhood. Pei Yucheng, especially, had high expectations of Pei Li. He was also afraid of Pei Li's ability to lose control, so he was especially strict. Pei Li, who was regarded as a monster in the Pei family, had never enjoyed the so-called fatherly love. This was the source of all hatred, and the irreversible seed had long been planted. End of chapter. Chapter 1187. At the same time, Pei Yucheng had been in a terrible state at the time, so he hadn't had time to care about her. This had led to the current situation and the main reason why Lin Yan had gotten into a tragic car accident while trying to escape from him. At the time, Lin Yan had still been abroad, and they had gotten married. When Pei Yucheng had sent Pei Li and Pei Qian away, Wang Jingyang had discovered it and told Lin Yan. Lin Yan had flown into a rage and argued with Pei Yucheng for a few days. Pei Yucheng had no choice but to bring Pei Qian and Pei Li to Lin Yan's side. He had made a pact with Lin Yan that they would meet once a year and that they could not meet for more than a month. Lin Yan had no choice but to compromise under Pei Yucheng's forcefulness. Perhaps it had been then that Lin Yan had thought of leaving Pei Yucheng. When Pei Li and Pei Qian had first appeared before Lin Yan, Pei Yucheng had realized that Lin Yan had doted on Pei Li too much. There had also been a deep sense of guilt in her doting. Pei Qian had told Lin Yan that Pei Li was a monster and that she shouldn't get close to him. Pei Li had been ostracized by everyone in the Pei Corporation, so he had felt inferior. He had looked at everyone with a tinge of fear. The first time they had met, Pei Yucheng had warned Lin Yan not to be alone with Pei Li. At the time, Lin Yan couldn't understand why Pei Yucheng would treat Pei Li that way. Even his brother, Pei Qian, wouldn't talk to him. Pei Qian's eyes were filled with disgust and mockery. Naturally, Lin Yan wouldn't hate Pei Qian. Instead, she blamed Pei Yucheng for all her hatred. Later, Lin Yan had to follow the team to a competition and had left for 2 weeks. During this time, Pei Qian and Pei Li had been targeted by the people in the laboratory. There were many of them, and they had many tricks up their sleeves. As a result, Pei Yucheng had to choose between Pei Li and Pei Qian as soon as possible. In the end, Pei Yucheng chose Pei Qian. Choosing Pei Qian didn't mean that he had abandoned Pei Li. However, Pei Yucheng believed that given Pei Li's capabilities, the people in the laboratory would only be asking for trouble. In the end, Pei Yucheng hadn't expected that Pei Li wouldn't retaliate at all. After Pei Li had been captured, Pei Yucheng had gone to the headquarters of the laboratory to rescue him. Pei Yucheng hadn't expected that Pei Li would explode and awaken his abilities. This time, Pei Li's hatred for Pei Yucheng exploded. He didn't hide it at all. He wouldn't be afraid of anyone, including his father. Pei Li had destroyed the laboratory and taken away many powerful laboratory hosts. He had also ambushed and injured Pei Yucheng when he was caught off guard. After that, the organization, Undying and Indestructible, was born, and Pei Li disappeared from the face of the earth, never to be heard from again. 2 weeks later, Lin Yan returned. She was devastated when she heard the news. She hated Pei Yucheng for giving up on Pei Li. She felt that Pei Yucheng wasn't fit to be a father or a husband. She had broken up with Pei Yucheng completely, which was the cause of the car accident. Lin Yan seemed to have some kind of ability. As long as she couldn't accept the memories, they would be erased from her mind. After that, she had forgotten about her child and Pei Yucheng. Pei Li's face surfaced in his mind. If he was right, Pei Li should have been nearby when the car accident had happened. He should have been there to look for his mother, Lin Yan. However, he had witnessed the tragic car accident and blamed him for Lin Yan's death. End of this chapter. Chapter 1188. In the study, Pei Yucheng tapped his fingers on the desk. He was indeed afraid of Pei Li. Once Pei Li's ability erupted, even he wouldn't be able to stop him. In the Pei Corporation, Pei Li's grave sins had indeed proved that his worries weren't wrong. However, Pei Yucheng hadn't expected their relationship to deteriorate to this extent. The Pei Corporation had issued a wanted order to kill Pei Li, who was only a few years old. As Pei Li's father, he had been very worried at first. However, Pei Yucheng realized that he had been worrying too much recently. He had underestimated Pei Li's evolved abilities. Even Pei Yucheng hadn't expected that Pei Li, who was only a few years old, would be able to create the undying and indestructible ability. The terrifying evolved beings around Pei Li were the mothers that Pei Li had saved from the laboratory. This couldn't be described as troublesome. Pei Yucheng couldn't help but frown as he recalled Lin Yan's past. Pei Li was very similar to Lin Yan in the past. Who would have thought that the leader of the mountains and seas, whose name had shaken the world back then, was actually a young girl? As for the heinous crimes that the mountains and seas had committed, they could never be cleansed. The current Pei Li and Lin Yan were history repeating itself. However, Pei Li was different from Lin Yan. Pei Li's genes were filled with violence. He wasn't shackled by the shackles of the world, and he was far more terrifying than Lin Yan. If this continued, even Pei Yucheng couldn't predict what would happen in the future. Just as Pei Yucheng was deep in thought, his eyes flickered. Pei Yucheng stood up slowly and walked out of the study to the courtyard. "Are you my little sister's man?" There was no one in the courtyard, but a mocking laugh was heard. "Who's your little sister?" Pei Yucheng asked coldly. "Haha," the voice chuckled contemptuously. "Do you have many women?" Pei Yucheng frowned. Was he referring to Lin Yan? "Your name is Pei Yucheng, right?" In the next second, the man bent over and walked out from the side. There was a very natural viciousness in his eyes. Pei Yucheng couldn't help but size up the man in front of him. He seemed to have never seen him before. This person was an evolved being who had reached a certain level. Pei Yucheng remained silent, as though he was waiting for the man to speak first. "I can tell from your eyes that you don't know much about my little sister," the man said with a smile. "So?" Pei Yucheng asked softly. "What? Is this how you treat your brother-in-law? You really make me unhappy." The man sneered. "You're from the Mu family?" Pei Yucheng looked puzzled. "Mu family?" A hint of disdain appeared in the man's eyes. "You can understand it that way. I'm here today to tell you to stay away from my little sister in the future. Stay as far away as you can." The man pressed on. "Let me introduce myself. I'm Lin Yan's second brother. I've said everything I need to. You don't have to worry about little sister." The man disappeared without giving Pei Yucheng a chance to speak. Pei Yucheng stood rooted to the ground, puzzled. This person didn't seem to have anything to do with the Mu family. However, what he said just now was thought-provoking. Little did he know that Lin Yan had a second brother who didn't know anything about him. End of chapter. Chapter 1189. The man who had claimed to be Lin Yan's second brother was stopped halfway after he left Cloud Manor. The man was dressed in a suit, and there were a few young men and women beside him. "Boss, what are you doing? I remember telling you not to provoke the people around little sister, especially her friends and relatives." The man's eyes landed on second brother as he spoke coldly. "Really? I forgot," replied second brother. "So you turned a deaf ear to my words," said the man. Second brother fell silent for a moment before he glanced at his eldest brother and chuckled sinisterly. "Boss, just mind your own business. Why do you have to care about what I say and do? I told you that little sister's life can't be disturbed." A hint of gloom appeared in the man's eyes. "Second brother, I'm not criticizing you, but big brother did tell us not to disturb little sister. Why are you disturbing the people around her?" asked one of the young men. "So what? Do you think little sister is living happily now?" Second brother sneered coldly. "I don't think so. Besides, this isn't just my idea. It's fifth brother's idea." "Fifth brother?" As soon as second brother finished speaking, the young men and women beside the first brother all looked at him. Among their father's many children, fifth brother was the most powerful one. Some of the children followed fifth brother's lead, including second brother, who belonged to fifth brother's camp. That was why he was so disobedient to their eldest brother's discipline. Fifth brother and eldest brother had always been at odds with each other. Because of their father's doting and his terrifying strength as an evolved being, he didn't take eldest brother seriously at all. Fifth brother and eldest brother had been arguing about little sister for many years. Fifth brother wanted to find little sister and tell her the truth, while eldest brother didn't want to disturb little sister's peaceful life. Because fifth brother and eldest brother didn't get along, it led to an intense conflict between fifth brother's camp and eldest brother's camp. In the end, it was because of their father's intervention that the relationship between the two of them seemed to have eased. Second brother, even if it's fifth brother's idea, you can't do it. You haven't forgotten what father said back then, right? Don't use father's doting on you as an excuse to act recklessly. A young woman beside their eldest brother frowned. Slap. A second later, the woman was slapped by second brother. Second brother. You. The woman looked at second brother in surprise. Who do you think you are? Big brother and second brother are talking. How dare you interrupt? The woman gritted her teeth and wanted to say something, but the boss beside her shook his head and told her not to speak. I don't have any intention of going against father. Moreover, father only told us to protect little sister. He didn't say that we couldn't recognize little sister. Boss, what are you harboring? Father only has little sister as his biological daughter. You let little sister wander outside. At this point, second brother's voice gradually became softer. When second brother saw the cold glint in big brother's eyes, second brother's imposing manner instantly weakened. Eldest brother, I don't believe that father doesn't miss little sister. You don't need to lecture me here. I will naturally ask father about this matter. You don't need to add some groundless charges to fifth brother and I. The second brother glanced at the first brother, snorted coldly, and left. After second brother left, a few young men and women quickly surrounded him. Big brother. Second brother and fifth brother are being too arrogant. End of chapter. Chapter 1190. Big brother watched second brother leave thoughtfully. Keep an eye on him. If second brother continues to disturb little sister or the people around her, just tell father the truth. State Finna Forest, Pei, what should we do next? You hate the Pei family so much. Why don't we destroy the Pei family's headquarters? One of the undying and indestructible members glanced at Pei, who was resting with his eyes closed. Pei opened his eyes and sized up the young man in front of him. Let's wear down the Pei family's power first. We can take action when they are injured. Pei, you're good with words, but you don't mean what you say. Little Loli, who was wearing a white dress and hovering in the air, stared at Pei. The Pei family is nothing compared to the great powers in the evolved world. It is just a small evolved family. Given our abilities, it will be easy to destroy the Pei family. What are you trying to say? Pei asked expressionlessly. Either you're too cautious, so cautious that it's exaggerated, or you can't bear to do it, but you're still holding back your anger. Make your choice, which one are you? Little Logic puffed up her cheeks. Pei was speechless. Ha ha ha. Xiaomeng is right. Pei, don't tell me you can't bear to do it. Pei, who was expressionless, replied calmly, the Pei family isn't as simple as you think. Is it because of your father? After a while, a member said thoughtfully. Indeed. An older evolved being said, Pei's father, Pei Yucheng, isn't simple. When Pei Yucheng was young, the Pei family sent him to the Mu family to study, Pei said emotionlessly. The Mu family. Which Mu family? I've never heard of it. Little Loli, who was hovering in the air, looked curious. The Mu family is a first-class family among the evolvers. I heard that when the leader of the Pei family went out to train when he was young, he saved a young member of the Mu family. That was how he became the leader of the Pei family. Otherwise, he would not have had the chance to be the leader of the Mu family, said the leader of the Pei family. A middle-aged man with half a mask covering his mouth and nose said. More powerful than the Pei family? Why haven't I heard of it? The youth in the fiery red robe smiled disdainfully, as if he was full of doubts about the middle-aged man's words. You're too young. The middle-aged man glanced at the youth. The meaning behind his words was clear. You're too young and have never seen the world, the young man in red. Besides, the Mu family isn't just more powerful than the Pei family. The Mu family has been around for nearly 1,000 years and has left its mark in many eras. It has 1,000 years of heritage. Even the current Mu family has many evolved geniuses. The Pei family can't compare to them at all. If you really want to compare them in detail, based on what I know about the Mu family, I'm afraid, they would only need to mobilize a few core members to destroy the entire Pei family in a short time, the middle-aged man said. Pfft! Your name is Mu Guang. Are you from the Mu family? Why are you bragging about the Mu family? Little Logic mocked him. Xiaomeng is right. I think this guy is from the Mu family. He's bragging too much, the youth in red chimed in with a smile. End of this chapter. Chapter 1191. The masked man fell into silence as they spoke. Pei Li, who sensed the cold glint in the masked man's eyes, glanced at him thoughtfully. So, you're a member of the Mu family, Pei Li told the masked man after a few seconds. I used to be, replied the masked man. Interesting, Pei Li replied calmly. Wow, I was right. Damn paralyzed face, you are really from the Mu family. The little loli was shocked. Wow. The man was an evolved being, so he was considered one of the higher-ups in their team. Perhaps the Mu family was really powerful, just as the man had said. That's why I know the Mu family very well. I've interacted with Pei Yucheng before. He's not simple, said the masked man. Then, Mu Guang took off his mask. When the little Lolas saw Mu Guang's face, they widened their eyes in shock. He had an extremely handsome face, but it was a pity that there were hideous cross-shaped scars on both sides of his cheeks. Even so, they could tell that Mu Guang had once been extraordinary. How did you get here? Asked Pei Li. Pei Yucheng gave it to me. The masked man put his mask back on. Understood, replied Pei Li. Aren't you going to ask why? The masked man glanced at Pei Li. Pei Li replied expressionlessly, there's no need. The enemy is the same, so it doesn't matter to me. Pei Li, no matter what kind of hatred your father has, listen to me. Don't do anything before you become invincible, said the masked man. Why? Do you think I'm afraid of the Mu family? Pei Li glanced at the masked man. The masked man shook his head and said, perhaps it's not as simple as the Mu family. There's a powerful force behind Pei Yucheng that we can't afford to provoke. Oh? Pei Li's eyes flickered. Which force? The Holy Land. Replied the masked man. F***ck me. Are you serious? Are you talking about the Holy Land where any random disciple can shake the evolved world? The red-clothed youth asked in astonishment. When Pei Yucheng was young, he was sent to the Mu family to study. He was deeply loved by the Mu family's madam. Not long after, Pei Yucheng followed a miss and young master of the Mu family to the Holy Land to participate in the assessment. The three of them passed the assessment and officially became members of the Holy Land. I heard that, the three of them even became the disciples of the leader of the Holy Land, the masked man said. The young mistress and young master of the Mu family. Who are they? The red-clothed youth became even more curious. Suddenly, the masked man sneered coldly. They are just two lonely souls who were killed by Pei Yucheng. Little Loli was taken aback. Pei Yucheng killed her? But from what you've said, shouldn't their relationship be very good? They went to the Holy Land together for the examination and stayed in the Holy Land to study together. How could they be killed? However, the masked man didn't seem to want to continue talking about this, so he didn't answer. Wow, Pei Li, was your father so cruel and merciless when he was young? You guys are indeed father and son. I mean, I finally understand why you hate Pei Yucheng so much, said the red-clothed youth. Although Pei Yucheng has been away from the Holy Land for a long time, he is still the disciple of the leader of the Holy Land. If you attack Pei Yucheng, you will be challenging the leader of the Holy Land. Pei Li is too dangerous, said the masked man. End of this chapter. Chapter 1192. Pei Li sat far away and did not move. He did not seem to feel anything special about the Holy Land and its master that the masked man was talking about. I'd like to see if I can fight the so-called Holy Land with my current evolutionary ability. As Pei Li's voice fell, a series of thunderous explosions came from the void around Pei Li. Black and purple lightning circled around Pei Li's body like young pythons. Little Loli, the young man in red, and the rest of the members could not breathe as they felt the terrifying evolved human's aura. Their skin felt like it was being pricked by thousands of needles, and their bodies were covered in cold sweat. This was the absolute pressure of evolution, and it had exceeded the limits of what they could endure. Moreover, the pressure was still increasing, as if there was no end to it. It carried with it an unbearable and violent aura that made people's hearts palpitate. If they were just ordinary evolved humans, they would have passed out on the spot, no matter how many people there were in the area. After Pei Li's evolved aura dissipated, Little Loli, the young man in red, and the rest felt better. It was as if they had returned to the human world from hell. What a monster! The young man in red wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and looked at Pei Li with lingering fear. Was he still human? He had never seen an evolved human with such an exaggerated and terrifying ability. The most terrifying thing was that Pei Li could not be killed or killed. His self-healing ability was insane as well. He was invincible. Pei Li, you're indeed ridiculously strong right now, but your abilities are still in a state of growth. No one knows how strong the leader of the Holy Land is. If you were to encounter the leader of the Holy Land right now, I wouldn't be able to tell who's stronger and who's weaker. So why don't you wait until you're fully grown before doing what you want to do? Pei Li was about to speak when he glanced into the distance. Almost instantly, several members leaped up and blocked Pei Li's side. Swoosh! In the next second, a black silhouette moved so fast that it was hard to see with the naked eye. The black silhouette was surrounded by a terrifying strong wind. With every step it took, the ground beneath its feet would crumble. It was as if it was a walking mountain. You're asking for it. Although the young man in red did not know who it was, the way it appeared meant that it was an enemy and not a friend. In the next second, the red-clothed youth turned into a 10 feet tall flaming man. The oxygen in the air instantly evaporated, as if he had become the incarnation of the blazing sun. F***ck, stay away from me, it's too hot. Seeing the man on fire approaching, the black figure stopped. The clothes on his body were about to be burned to ashes. Sure enough, it's a parent body from the laboratory. Does anyone have such an evolutionary ability? The black shadow stared at the burning man thoughtfully. Just as the flaming man approached, the black shadow's body suddenly surged with bursts of golden luster. The power of genes? The red-clothed youth who had turned into a 10 feet tall burning man was slightly stunned. Boom! A deafening crash. The black shadow soared into the sky and swung out a fist that was difficult to see with the naked eye, and its speed was swift to the extreme. It was even to the extent that flaming man hadn't even recovered from his shock when his enormous body was blasted flying by an indescribably terrifying force. Soon, the man in fire fell heavily to the ground and returned to his human form. What the f***ck, did I get hit by a train? The red-clothed youth stood up. For a moment, he felt a little dizzy. No. I should have been hit by 100, 1,000 trains. Chapter 1193. Get Lost. After finishing off the young man in red, the black shadow dashed toward Paley without slowing down. The members guarding Paley were expressionless. Some of them even closed their eyes and used their senses to determine the location of the black shadow. Get out of the way. Paley sat far away and spoke calmly. No one doubted Paley's words. Almost at the same time Paley spoke, the few members guarding in front of him had already retreated to the left and right. At this moment, Paley was sitting on the ground. His eyes were calm as he looked at the black shadow that was rushing towards him. When the black shadow threw a punch, Paley also punched out symbolically. Hong long 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 long. Indescribable explosions rang out one after another. When the two fists collided, it was as if two meteorites had collided in the universe. Invisible airwaves turned into violent gales that surged in all directions. Countless giant trees and boulders in the surroundings were turned into dust by this airwave. At that moment, almost everyone's eyes were on the black shadow. Interesting. This is the first time I've seen an evolved person with such insane physical strength, an elderly member said coldly. It's rare, an evolved person who has unlocked the genetic seal. I'm afraid his physical strength has reached the peak. Get out of the way. Paley, don't do anything. Let me kill this person. The little Loli's eyes were filled with bloodlust. Her almost unrivaled mental strength collided with this unrivaled physical strength. Who was stronger and who was weaker? However, Paley ignored the little Loli and only looked at the man in front of him. Uncle Dog, stop fooling around, Paley said. The smile on the face of the man called Uncle Dog suddenly froze. Paley, what did I teach you? Call me Dog. Uncle Wang, Uncle Jing, or even Uncle Yang. Wang Jingyang shouted. No. Paley said calmly, Uncle Dog is more intimate. The corner of Wang Jingyang's mouth twitched. Exactly, what was more intimate? Do you really think adding the word dog is more intimate? Wang Jingyang frowned. Yes, Paley said. Immediately, Wang Jingyang nodded. Okay, my dog nephew, I understand. Who wouldn't hurt each other? Paley, call me whatever you want, I'm fine with it, Paley said. Wang Jingyang, seeing this, the members at the side were puzzled. Did this person know Paley? Moreover, the relationship between the two seemed to be extraordinary. The little Loli who was floating in the air suddenly looked like a wilted daylily. So. I can't kill him, right? He's my dog uncle. What do you think? Paley glanced at the little Loli. Who is it? Who is so arrogant to want to kill Uncle Yang? Wang Jingyang looked around and his eyes finally fell on the little girl. Call me Uncle Dog, Paley said to the little Loli. No. Wang Jingyang quickly stopped him. Don't call me Uncle Dog. Call me Uncle Wang, Uncle Jean, or Uncle Yang. No, don't call me Uncle, call me Big Brother. Uncle Dog. The little girl said listlessly. Wang Jingyang, so it's leader Xiao Li's uncle. One of the old men walked forward with a smile and nodded at Wang Jingyang. Hello, Uncle Dog. As the old man finished speaking, Wang Jingyang's eyebrows furrowed into a crease. He looked at the old man with a bewildered expression, and his expression was indescribable. End of this chapter. Chapter 1194. Wang Jingyang glanced at the old man with an indescribable expression on his face. How old was this old man? How could he call him uncle? How shameless could he be? A moment later, Wang Jingyang sized up the people around him, and his heart couldn't help but ripple. Each of the evolvers present was more terrifying than the last. Their levels of evolution were more unfathomable than the last. Soon, Wang Jingyang withdrew his gaze from the people around him and looked at Pei Li again. Wow, how old are you? You're already growing so fast. Did you take hormones? Wang Jingyang grinned at Pei Li. He had to admit that Pei Li was indeed very similar to Lin Yan in the past. In terms of appearance, experience, and even personality. Back then, Lin Yan had established Mountain Sea when she was young and led a group of monster-level evolved beings to roam the world. Pei Li was very similar to Lin Yan in the past. Pei Li glanced at Wang Jingyang, as though he wanted to say something. However, he didn't say a word in the end. I haven't seen you for a long time. You've changed a lot. You've become stronger. The new generation really surpasses the old. Wang Jingyang smiled at Pei Li. Uncle Dog, how did you find me? Pei Li asked after a moment. Don't call me uncle. Call me brother, replied Wang Jingyang. Pei Li was speechless. It wasn't easy to find you, but you've been doing so much recently. If I put in some effort, I would still be able to find some clues. Wang Jingyang grinned. We didn't hide our whereabouts. Isn't it normal to find us? Little Loli replied. Uncle Dog, since you're here, you're a guest. Have a seat. Pei Li glanced at Wang Jingyang. Wang Jingyang instinctively swept the surroundings with his gaze when he heard Pei Li, and then he said with a smile, Where shall we sit? Pei Li glanced at Wang Jingyang and said, Make yourself at home. Sit on the ground. Wang Jingyang was speechless. He was really particular about how he treated his guests. Uncle Dog, why did you come all the way here? I don't think it's as simple as catching up. After Wang Jingyang sat down, Pei Li spoke to him. Wang Jingyang sized up Pei Li. Indeed, although he was young, he had evolved to a very advanced level. He couldn't look at Pei Li like a child anymore. He was just like Lin Yan when she had been young. Hee. Wang Jingyang laughed. Money has been a little tight recently. As Wang Jingyang performed his tricks, not only Pei Li, but the other members also looked at Wang Jingyang in surprise. Even the young men and women who were as cold as icebergs did the same. Wait, uncle, don't tell me you're here to borrow money? The red-clothed youth who had been beaten back by Wang Jingyang asked in disbelief. A top-notch physical evolver had crossed mountains and seas to spend so much effort to find Pei Li, and in the end, he was told that he was short of money? They had never heard of such a thing. Hearing this, Wang Jingyang furrowed his brows and said in a slightly displeased tone, What do you mean by borrowing? How can this be called borrowing? Am I that kind of person? You can ask around. I, Wang Jingyang, never borrow money from anyone. With that, Wang Jingyang continued, As long as I don't return it, it's not borrowing. Pei Li, Little Loli, the red-clothed youth, all the members were speechless. How could there be such a shameless person? Hence, he had indeed come to borrow money, but he had no intention of returning it. End of this chapter. Chapter 1195. The pale-faced young man stared at Wang Jingyang and said with sudden realization, I understand. You are not here to borrow money. Hearing this, Wang Jingyang smiled and nodded. The pale-faced young man pinched his chin and said in deep thought, According to your logic, you are here to rob. Wang Jingyang, what kind of relationship do I have with Pei Li? We are uncle and nephew. When I was young, I took care of Pei Li like he was my own son. I worked hard without any complaints. Now that Pei Li has made a name for himself, isn't it only right for him to be filial to a poor uncle like me? How can this be called borrowing money? How can this be called robbing? Do you know how to talk? Pei Li looked at Wang Jingyang strangely. Uncle Dog, are you serious? Wang Jingyang's expression was serious. Of course. Let me tell you, I don't have a single cent on me. When I came here, I used all my money to buy a plane ticket. If you don't give me some money, I won't be able to go back. Pei Li stared at Wang Jingyang. Looking at Wang Jingyang's expression, he did not look like he was joking. So, he really was here for money. I don't have any concept of money. Pei Li showed a rare look of awkwardness. He turned to look at the little girl. How much money do we have? Where do we get the money? We don't steal or rob, and no one works. The little girl said. Look at how long I've been wearing these clothes. Isn't it because we are poor and can't buy new clothes? The red-shirt young man said. Then, can you gather the money for the plane ticket? Pei Li asked again. 17-inch barely. Let's all pool our money. The money for the plane ticket shouldn't be a problem. The red-shirt young man looked at Wang Jingyang. Uncle, what are you after? You spent all your money to buy a plane ticket to find Pei Li, and then you want us to spend all our money to buy a plane ticket for you. So, why are you here? It's meaningless. Wang Jingyang smiled. If I knew you were so poor, I definitely wouldn't have come. Without giving the red-shirt young man a chance to speak, Wang Jingyang's gaze landed on Pei Li again. Little Li, I've heard about you. Do you want your father's life this time? Interested? Pei Li asked. Xiao Li Zi, I think you should give up on this idea. Pei Yucheng is your biological father. Are you out of your mind to take his life? Wang Jingyang looked at Pei Li, his expression gradually turning serious. Pei Li glanced at Wang Jingyang. That's strange. Your relationship with Pei Yucheng isn't that good. My relationship with your father is between the two of us. Don't mix it up. Pei Yucheng is your father. Aren't you afraid of being struck by lightning if you kill him? Wang Jingyang retorted. I've severed all ties with Pei Yucheng. He has never treated me as his son. He merely sees me as a killing machine that can be nurtured and used as a trump card for the Pei family. Isn't that right? Pei Li replied calmly. At this point, Wang Jingyang was also in a difficult position. He didn't know what to say. In Wang Jingyang's opinion, Pei Yucheng was indeed a good-for-nothing. He was just a cunning, greedy, and unscrupulous person. Back then, he had lied to Lin Yan and caused her 2 children to die prematurely. However, he had secretly sent them back to the Pei family because he had taken a fancy to their abilities, especially Pei Li. He had treated Pei Li as a killing tool and left him in the Pei family to become a trump card that could fight against stronger evolved beings. He said loudly, Pei Li, Uncle Go means. Did your father have an affair behind your mother's back? Did he have another woman? The young man sighed heavily. My father used to be like this. He fooled around behind my mother's back. When my mother found out, she broke his legs. Pei Li's eyes glinted coldly. It seems like my mother has been humiliated by him. Chapter 1197. Wang Jingyang looked at Pei Li in bewilderment. He couldn't understand what this brat was saying. Hold on, hold on. Wang Jingyang stopped himself immediately when he realized that there had been a misunderstanding. Uncle Dog, what's wrong? Pei Li glanced at Wang Jingyang. Wang Jingyang frowned and pondered for a moment before he said, It's a little messy. Let's sort it out. Okay. Pei Li didn't reject him. I was just asking you if Pei Yucheng had been fooling around outside and your mother found out, Wang Jingyang quipped. I don't know, Pei Li replied expressionlessly. Perhaps. That shouldn't be the case. Wang Jingyang looked puzzled. Although your father is a despicable and shameless person, based on my understanding of him, he wouldn't do such a lowly thing. Hearing this, Pei Li said thoughtfully, and then? You said that I came to persuade you not to hurt your father and that you would let your mother down. Why? Wang Jingyang was puzzled. Back when she had been overseas, Lin Yan had merely been disappointed by Pei Yucheng. She hadn't hated him at all. After the car accident, Lin Yan's evolved ability had made her forget all the painful memories, including her 2 children and Pei Yucheng. Since she had forgotten everything, it was impossible for her to hate him. Besides, the 2 of them were so close to each other now. How could she hate him? What do you think? Pei Li asked Wang Jingyang. How would I know? Wang Jingyang glared at Pei Li. Hadn't he asked him a question? Why was this kid asking him a question? Pei Yucheng was the one who caused my mother's death. In a sense, Pei Yucheng is the murderer. If it hadn't been for Pei Yucheng, my mother wouldn't have died in that car accident. Pei Li's eyes glinted coldly. Pei Yucheng and I have severed our ties. Since he is a stranger and he killed my mother, why can't I avenge her? You might care about what the world thinks, but I don't care, Pei Li replied. Wang Jingyang was speechless. Wang Jingyang was dumbfounded when he heard Pei Li. Lin Yan was dead? Pei Yucheng had caused her death. When did this happen? Why didn't he know? But on second thought, Wang Jingyang seemed to understand. The main point was the car accident that Pei Li mentioned. Indeed, Lin Yan had been involved in a tragic car accident when she had been overseas. If she had been an ordinary person, she would have died without a doubt. She would have been sent to the crematorium along with her car. However, was Lin Yan an ordinary person? Lin Yan was an evolved being. She even had evolved genes and abilities that ordinary people couldn't understand. She wouldn't die even if she were to get into an accident on a spaceship. Pei Li, did you witness your mother's car accident with your own eyes? Wang Jingyang asked. Indeed, Pei Li answered honestly. Hearing this, Wang Jingyang nodded. If Pei Li had witnessed Lin Yan's accident with his own eyes, it would be understandable that his mother had died in that tragic accident. Chapter 1198. In the end, the 2 of them were completely at odds. They weren't on the same channel at all. Pei Li's assumption that Lin Yan had died was just a huge blunder. This was a huge misunderstanding. Wang Jingyang stared at Pei Li, as though he wanted to say something. However, he hesitated. Wang Jingyang really didn't want to see Pei Li hurt Pei Yucheng. This wasn't because of his brotherly relationship with Pei Yucheng, but because Pei Li was Pei Yucheng's son. If he really hurt Pei Yucheng, the heavens wouldn't tolerate it. This wasn't just gossip. Wang Jingyang was more concerned about the fact that no one could guarantee that Pei Li wouldn't regret killing his biological father one day. However, Wang Jingyang didn't want Pei Li's hatred for Pei Yucheng to dissipate. He didn't even want Pei Li to acknowledge a traitor as his father. At least in Wang Jingyang's eyes, Pei Yucheng wasn't fit to be a father. Putting aside the grudges between them for the time being, just talking about the responsibility of a father, which father would lie to his postpartum partner and tell her that the children they gave birth to had both died. The truth was that he had secretly sent the children to the Pei clan's headquarters, using them as a tool, a secret weapon that could make the clan stronger. How had Pei Yucheng treated Pei Li back then? When he was in the Pei family, Pei Li was regarded as a monster. As his father, did he say anything? When he had met his mother for the first time, he had asked Pei Li to keep a distance from her. He hadn't even allowed the 2 of them to be alone. After Pei Li and Pei Qian were targeted by some Evolver's faction, did he care about Pei Li's life or death? How could such a person be qualified to be a father? If he didn't tell his mother that Lin Yan was still alive, their father-son relationship would come to an end. This was indeed what Wang Jingyang wanted to see. However, if he kept this a secret, he would be in the wrong. Even if he had his reasons, Pei Li had the right to know the truth. Uncle Dog? Pei Li frowned when he noticed that Wang Jingyang was staring at him in silence. Pei Li. Brother Dog has something to tell you. Wang Jingyang sighed heavily. Go ahead, Uncle Dog, said Pei Li. Your mother is also an evolved being, said Wang Jingyang. Pei Li looked a little confused. Anything else? So, have you ever seen an evolved person with decent evolutionary abilities die in a car accident? Wang Jingyang continued. Wang Jingyang, who noticed that Pei Li was caught off guard, blurted out, Your mother, Lin Yan, is alive and well. Who told you that she is dead? What did you say? As Wang Jingyang's voice fell, Pei Li's already large eyes widened even more, and he instantly grabbed Wang Jingyang's arm. Your mother didn't die. She only injured her leg in the car accident. Stop imagining things, Wang Jingyang said. My mother isn't dead. Pei Li was dumbfounded. How is this possible? I saw it with my own eyes, not to mention Pei Li. Even the team members at the side were a little dumbfounded. Pei Li, your mother has been resurrected? Little Loli asked in surprise. Wang Jingyang, Uncle Dog, is what you said true? Are you trying to make me happy? Pei Li asked anxiously. Whoever lies to you is a dog, Wang Jingyang said. After saying that, not only Pei Li, but little Loli and the others also revealed suspicious looks. Chapter 1199. Wang Jingyang had no idea that Pei Li had thought that Lin Yan had died in the car accident. Fortunately, Wang Jingyang had found out about this. Otherwise, who knew how long this huge misunderstanding would last? When Pei Li heard from Wang Jingyang that his mother, Lin Yan, was still alive, his eyes filled with astonishment and disbelief. To Pei Li, Lin Yan was indeed alive, but she lived in his heart. Why would I lie to you? Wang Jingyang couldn't help but glance at Pei Li. Pei Li's eyes were filled with suspicion, and Wang Jingyang didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Uncle Dog, my mother, is really alive. Pei Li glanced at Wang Jingyang to confirm this. Yes, she is. Wang Jingyang nodded and grinned. Your mother is alive and well. The car accident wasn't fatal, and she isn't as weak as you think. Where is my mother now? Pei Li couldn't help but ask. She's with your father. Wang Jingyang sighed heavily. Pei Yucheng? Pei Li frowned when he heard Wang Jingyang mention Pei Yucheng. How unexpected. After a while, Pei Li said thoughtfully. What's wrong? Wang Jingyang didn't know why Pei Li would suddenly say that. I didn't expect my mother to be alive. I also didn't expect her to be with Pei Yucheng, Pei Li replied. Your father and mother are living together. What's so surprising about that? Wang Jingyang quipped. Pei Li shook his head gently and didn't reply to Wang Jingyang. Pei Li still remembered that his mother had once asked him if he would be willing to be with her if she and his father were to part ways. Of course, Pei Li's answer had been yes. However, Pei Li hadn't been able to wait for that day. Besides, Pei Li couldn't understand why his mother hadn't contacted him if she hadn't died in the car accident. She had given her mother her contact information, and her phone number had never been changed. However, his mother hadn't contacted him at all. Or did his mother not care about him at all? Pei Li, what's wrong? Wang Jingyang asked when he saw the complicated look on Pei Li's face. As soon as Wang Jingyang finished speaking, Pei Li returned to his senses. He looked at Wang Jingyang and said, Uncle Dog, tell me where she is. China A shopping mall. Lin Yan carried her shopping bags as she stood by the counter in the shopping mall. Lin Yan had planned to visit her mother in the afternoon, so she decided to buy some gifts for her mother. Just as Lin Yan was about to ask about a product, her expression changed drastically. She did not know when a hand had rested on her shoulder, and almost instantly, a faint fragrance wafted into her nose. Instinctively, Lin Yan dodged to the side. However, his hand was firmly on her right shoulder, so she couldn't break free. Before Lin Yan could think further, she was hugged by someone. Lin Yan furrowed her eyebrows and turned to her left. A young man in a black leather suit was holding her. The man was wearing a black leather jacket, vintage jeans, and a pair of white boots. He was estimated to be more than 1.85 meters tall. His appearance and attire were very fashionable. He had brown hair and black earrings on his earlobes. End of this chapter. Chapter 1200. The earrings made the young man look unruly and handsome. He didn't look repulsive at all. He was outstanding in terms of looks, height, and aura. However, Lin Yan didn't know the man in front of her. Hence, she was infuriated that he had hugged her out of nowhere. Hitting someone was against the law. If hitting someone wasn't against the law, she would have punched the young man who was hugging her to death in the mall. He thought that he was handsome, so he could flirt with anyone. Furthermore, he had done it in such a disrespectful manner. What do you like? The man suddenly lowered his head and met Lin Yan's eyes with a gentle smile. Lin Yan was dumbfounded by the young man's actions. This man couldn't have escaped from some mental hospital, could he? It felt like he was very close to her. Even the way he spoke was like an old friend who had known her for many years. Did she know him? Do I know you? Lin Yan asked the man coldly. The man smiled shyly and scrutinized Lin Yan's features. You really look like my father. Your nose and eyes are indeed my father's daughter. You are so alike. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched when she heard him. Was there something wrong with this handsome young man's brain? He claimed that she resembled his father. Had he come to the mall to look for his father? Even if he had come to look for his father, he would at least look for a man. Why would he look for a woman? Lin Yan ignored the man and shrugged her shoulders to push his arm away. However, the man didn't seem to mind. He continued to smile at Lin Yan. Before Lin Yan could speak, the man told the salesperson, "Wrap them up." The salesperson asked, "Sir, which item would you like to wrap up?" "All of them." The man grinned. "All of them?" The salesperson was startled. "Yeah, all of them," replied the man. "All of them?" The salesperson was startled. "Card." The man retrieved a black card from his pocket and placed it on the counter. "Miss, your boyfriend treats you so well." The salesperson gazed at Lin Yan with envy. "My boyfriend?" Lin Yan instinctively pointed at herself. "I'm not her boyfriend." The man laughed. Oh. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, I didn't understand," the salesperson quickly said. "I'm her brother," the man said. "Miss, your brother treats you so well." The salesperson smiled awkwardly at Lin Yan. Lin Yan was speechless. "Xiaofan, do you need anything else?" The man lowered his head to look at Lin Yan. Lin Yan frowned when she heard the man. She even felt wary as she stared at the man. "Who are you? Do I know you? Let me formally introduce myself." "I am your brother, fifth brother," the man said with a smile. "Brother? Fifth brother? Are you making fun of me?" Lin Yan asked expressionlessly. Why didn't she know that she had a brother? "Sorry, I don't know you. You've mistaken me for someone else." Lin Yan turned around to leave. Chapter 1201. The man standing next to Lin Yan was an evolved being at an extremely high level. He had reached a level that Lin Yan couldn't imagine. Ever since Lin Yan had found out that she was an evolved being, she had a rough understanding of the evolved being's world. No one had ever given Lin Yan such pressure before, be it a postnatal evolved being or a connate evolved being that had been born high and mighty. The oppressive aura of an evolved being seemed to exist and not exist. Lin Yan could sense that this oppressive aura wasn't deliberately created by the man in front of her. Instead, it emanated from his bones with every move he made. Lin Yan finally looked at the handsome man in front of her with a charming and gentle smile on his face. However, Lin Yan didn't feel any warmth as she stood beside him. Instead, she shuddered. It felt as though she was standing next to a ferocious beast and could die at any moment. In a few seconds, Lin Yan's entire body was drenched in cold sweat. This man was too dangerous, and the level of an evolved being had far exceeded the limits of her understanding. "It doesn't matter if you don't know me." The man smiled and spoke softly, as though he could bewitch her. "But you should know me now. I'm your brother, fifth brother." Lin Yan didn't say anything as she pondered what this man's motive was. She was certain that Lin Yan didn't know this man. They hadn't interacted with each other before this. This was the first time they had met. However, the man kept saying that she was her brother, but she really didn't have one. Even if she did, how could Lin Yan not know her brother? That was obviously impossible. Besides, Lin Yan didn't think that this man had any ulterior motives. If he wanted to, he could kill her with one blow at any time. Before long, Lin Yan was startled. Could it be that he, like Bai He and Si Bai, had recognized the wrong person? The more Lin Yan thought about it, the more she felt that it was possible. After all, the owner of a certain laboratory looked very similar to her. "Sister Lin Yan, do you want to have a drink with me?" The man suddenly called her name as Lin Yan was deep in thought. Lin Yan's expression changed when she heard the man. She was certain that this wasn't a mistake. He said his name. Who are you?" Lin Yan instinctively took 2 steps back. "You're so stupid." The man stared at Lin Yan. "Didn't I tell you that he's your brother?" "I don't have a brother," Lin Yan replied warily. Seeing that the situation wasn't right, the salesperson frowned. Previously, he thought that the two of them had some sort of relationship, but after listening to their conversation, it didn't seem to be the case. "Miss, do you need help?" the salesgirl whispered to Lin Yan. However, Lin Yan ignored the salesperson. Not to mention these ordinary people, even if ordinary evolvers came, they would just be sending themselves to death. Moreover, she did not feel any malice from the man. "Let's go. I'll explain everything to you." The man grinned as he strode over to Lin Yan and placed his hand on her shoulder. "Sir, do you know this young lady?" Unbeknownst to him, the salesperson had called over several security personnel from the mall. Chapter 1202. Several security guards approached Lin Yan and the man, sizing him up. The man ignored them and placed an arm around Lin Yan's shoulders as he led her away from the stage. "Let go." Lin Yan struggled several times, but she couldn't break free. The security guards, who sensed something amiss, rushed forward to stop the man. However, before they could even get close to the man, these security guards fell to the ground with a thud and looked like they had fainted. Before Lin Yan could snap back to her senses, the man had already dragged her out of the mall. "You attacked an ordinary person?" Lin Yan raised her head to look at the man in astonishment. The man chuckled softly and quipped, "Did you see what I did?" Before Lin Yan could reply, the man explained, "They must have had too much to drink." Lin Yan was speechless. Did he think that she was a fool? Had they had too much to drink? Couldn't he come up with a better excuse? At the moment, Lin Yan was in an awkward situation. She was like a fool as she allowed the man to lead her by the nose. She was powerless to resist, as though she were an ant that had met an elephant. She felt utterly helpless. Sister Senior. Just as Lin Yan was drowning in despair, the White Crane's voice rang out. Lin Yan's heart leaped with joy. The White Crane strode out of the mall with 2 ice creams in its hands. Lin Yan had brought the White Crane with her. She had left it at the dessert shop on the 2nd floor of the mall. She had wanted to buy some ice creams before going to look for it. However, she had bumped into the man. Sister Senior, why did you run away? Aren't you going to pay for me? The White Crane looked anxious. He hadn't paid for the ice creams. Lin Yan, who seemed to have forgotten her current predicament, turned to the White Crane and bellowed, "Didn't I give you $200? No. It's not enough." The White Crane looked aggrieved. 1 stick costs $150. 2 sticks cost $300. I gave them $200. I ate a lot of other things, so I still owe them more than $600. They asked me for money after I ate, so I snuck out to look for you. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched. Did you eat gold? The White Crane wanted to retort, but its eyes landed on the handsome man next to Lin Yan. He took a few steps forward and narrowed his eyes to size up the smiling man. Senior sister, you have a new boyfriend? Lin Yan was speechless. Damn you. You're such a fool. He couldn't do anything but spend money to be number 1. He was being held hostage. Was he blind? Cough cough. Lin Yan coughed deliberately and winked at the White Crane. He was puzzled by Lin Yan's actions. Then, a look of realization dawned on him as he hurriedly said, "Please explain. I'm her junior brother. I'm not her son. Please don't misunderstand." Lin Yan was speechless. "Goodbye, my friend." The man smiled and nodded at the White Crane. "Silly boy. I don't know him." Lin Yan, who had no choice but to tell the White Crane. The White Crane glanced at Lin Yan with a strange expression on its face. "I'm not close to him," replied Lin Yan. Then senior sister, you can be so casual. That's not good. He said. Idiot. He's an evolved being. I was kidnapped by him. Can't you be more specific? Lin Yan wanted to cry. End of chapter. Chapter 1203. When Lin Yan said that, the White Crane finally understood. Its expression changed instantly as it lunged at the man and Lin Yan. However, the White Crane stopped in its tracks when it saw that Lin Yan was in the man's hands. "Who are you? Let go of my senior sister and I'll spare your life. Otherwise, I'll smash your head," the White Crane threatened the man. "Ha!" The man eyed the White Crane and chuckled softly. "You've misunderstood. Are you looking down on me?" The White Crane glared at him. "I might be young, but I'm capable." The man was speechless. "Go and pay the dessert shop." The man whipped out a stack of cash from his pocket and tossed it at the White Crane. The White Crane reacted swiftly. It caught the stack of cash and turned to walk toward the mall. However, before it could take 2 steps, the White Crane halted and turned around to glare at the man. "Are you looking down on me?" After saying that, he put the money in his pocket. The man didn't say anything as he watched the White Crane quietly. "All right, I think you're going to do it the hard way. It's too late to regret it." As soon as the White Crane finished speaking, it transformed into a gust of wind, leaving behind an afterimage in its original position due to its extreme speed. The White Crane was indeed fast. In the blink of an eye, it had reached Lin Yan and the man. It swung its fist at the man. However, to Lin Yan's disbelief, the man didn't make a move. He merely placed his arm around her shoulder and stood there casually. Plop. Lin Yan watched helplessly as Bai He's fist landed on her. She collapsed to the ground just like the security guards at the shopping mall earlier. Lin Yan felt as though her heart was about to leap out of her throat. This man. What kind of monster was he? The boy on the ground wasn't an ordinary security guard. He was a super-evolved being, the White Crane. If the man and the White Crane had fought fiercely and knocked the White Crane to the ground, Lin Yan would have been able to accept the fact that the White Crane had been defeated. However, what had just happened? The man had placed his arm around her shoulder and hadn't done anything. He had merely watched the White Crane quietly. A second later, the White Crane collapsed to the ground and fainted. You. After the shock, it was followed by anger. Lin Yan really liked Bai He, who was adorable and silly. Not only had he saved her, but he had also gone through life and death with her. He had even broken into the laboratory once. It couldn't be said that they had gone through life and death together, but they had gone through thick and thin together. This person actually dared to harm White Crane. He didn't even spare a child. You animal! How dare you attack a child? Lin Yan glared at the man. Hearing that, the man still smiled without changing his expression. He should be the one who attacked me first, and, did you see me attack? Before Lin Yan could reply, the man stared at the White Crane, who had fainted on the ground. I think, he drank too much. Lin Yan was speechless. This man not only attacked a child, but also insulted her intelligence several times. It was one thing to say that those security guards drank too much, but now they actually said that Bai He drank too much. Did he think he was retarded? Let's go. You'll be fine once you sober up. The man pulled Lin Yan away. I'll take you to see your father. Lin Yan was too worried about the White Crane to pay attention to what the man was saying. Chapter 1204. Although Lin Yan knew that this man was a super-evolved being, she hadn't expected that the White Crane, who was also a super-evolved being, would be as weak as an ant in front of this man. The man hadn't even made a move, yet the White Crane had collapsed. If she had known that there was such a huge disparity in their abilities, Lin Yan wouldn't have said that she had been held hostage. At that moment, Lin Yan felt extremely guilty. She was the one who had harmed the White Crane. The man had barely taken a few steps when he halted abruptly. Lin Yan saw that the White Crane had woken up. It was hugging the man's ankle tightly and biting him. It was mumbling something indistinctly. If one listened carefully, it seemed to be saying, "I'll bite you to death. White Crane, run." Lin Yan heaved a sigh of relief when she saw that the White Crane had woken up. The smile on the man's face vanished, replaced by a look of helplessness. When she saw that the man was distracted, Lin Yan mustered all her courage and unleashed all her potential. Adrenaline surged as she used all her strength to punch the man's face. However, the moment her fist came into contact with the man's flawless face, Lin Yan's eyes rolled back and she collapsed to the ground, just like the White Crane. Lin Yan fell on top of the White Crane and pinned it beneath her. You slut! How dare you hit my senior sister? Do you know who I am?" The White Crane scrambled to its feet and hugged Lin Yan. The man sighed softly and said helplessly, "Did you see me attack? You didn't attack. What happened to my senior sister?" The White Crane fumed. The man held his chin and revealed a puzzled expression. After a moment, he said, "Maybe. I drank too much." "Liar." The White Crane yelled, "My senior sister didn't drink. Fifth brother. Just as the white crane was about to say something, a woman walked over from behind. The woman's long hair reached her waist and was very soft. She had a sweet appearance, especially her eyes, which were purple and very lively. From head to toe, she was a super luxury brand that was priceless in the market. Even the watch on her wrist was sky high. The woman was wearing a cheongsam that accentuated her slender figure. 10th sister. The man nodded when he saw the woman. Oh my God. The woman's expression changed when she saw Lin Yan on the ground. 5th brother, did little sister attack you? The woman knew that the man wouldn't lay a finger on her. However, Lin Yan was unconscious on the ground. There was only one possibility. His sister had attacked 5th brother. Obviously, the man said. The woman sighed, seemingly more helpless than the man. 5th brother was a natural-born evolved person. He used a very peculiar ability, which was known as the power of evolution. 5th brother's power of evolution would passively defend against anyone who attacked him, be it an evolved human or a normal human, even if it was a wild beast. In other words, he didn't need to do anything at all. If anyone attacked him, then hitting him was the same as hitting themselves, or even worse. Bullshit. Hearing the conversation between the woman and the man, the white crane suddenly stood up and sneered, "Nonsense, there is such an ability, I don't believe it." After saying that, he punched the man again. Plop. The woman watched as the white crane fell to the ground and fainted. The man held his chin and looked at the white crane quietly. He said thoughtfully, "Maybe he hasn't woken up yet." Chapter 1205. After some time, Lin Yan suddenly opened her eyes and sat up swiftly. Lin Yan, who was in a daze, glanced at the beautiful woman in the cheongsam. "Little sister, are you all right?" The woman in the cheongsam glanced at Lin Yan with a worried expression. Instinctively, Lin Yan shook her head in response. However, she soon turned to the woman in the cheongsam with a wary expression. She seemed to have been punched hard by someone just now, and then completely fainted. At this moment, the white crane had also woken up. It looked at the man in leather with a strange expression. What kind of monster was this man? Who are you? What do you want? Lin Yan glanced at the woman in the cheongsam and then at the man. The woman in the cheongsam sighed and glanced at the man reproachfully. "5th brother, now is not the time. Let's go," the woman in the cheongsam told the man. The man's smile remained on his face as he replied softly, "Are you teaching me what to do?" "5th brother, that's not what I meant." The woman in the cheongsam sighed helplessly as she glanced at her 5th brother. Lin Yan and Bai glanced at each other. Bai stared at Lin Yan with a puzzled expression. It didn't seem like Lin Yan was being held hostage. Something was amiss. As the culprit, Lin Yan was naturally more baffled than the white crane. However, she was certain that she didn't know the man in front of her. She had never seen the beautiful woman before either. However, these two strangers whom she had never seen before claimed that she was their little sister. A lazy listener, how much can you remember about the Mu family? The man in the leather suit asked as his eyes landed on Lin Yan. The Mu family? Lin Yan looked even more puzzled when she heard the man in the leather suit. I don't know what you're talking about, Lin Yan replied. Little sister, you don't know about the Mu family? The woman in the cheongsam was astonished. You lived in the Mu family when you were young. Have you forgotten? Lin Yan was speechless. 5th brother, does this have anything to do with little sister's ability? Or is there something else? The woman in the cheongsam asked the man. The man shook his head and replied calmly, Father has never told me about her ability. However, he sent her away from him and arranged for her to stay with the Mu family. He must have his reasons. The woman in the cheongsam sighed. Boss and his men have been investigating little sister all these years. Fifth brother, why don't you ask boss? Boss? The man in the leather suit looked disdainful as he quipped, do you think he will tell me? That's true. With the relationship between fifth brother and boss, I'm afraid. The woman in Cheongsam murmured. Fifth brother, what do you plan to do now? The woman in the Cheongsam looked at the man. She did not understand what was the purpose of fifth brother's sudden appearance in front of her youngest sister. Although his father didn't say it clearly, his attitude was clear. He had always asked boss and the others to investigate the news of his little sister after she left the Mu family, but he had never asked anyone to find her. Since his father didn't say anything, he hoped that his little sister's life wouldn't be disturbed by others. However, fifth brother's sudden appearance today had obviously destroyed what his father hoped to see. Chapter 1206. The man in leather scrutinized Lin Yan for a long time before he said, although father didn't say it, everyone knows how much he misses little sister. As his children, we should help him make some decisions. Lin Yan and Bai He stood at the side, confused. They had no idea what the two of them were talking about. First, it was little sister. Then, it was the Mu family. Now, it was their father. Fifth brother, you should know that father must have his reasons for not letting us come into contact with little sister. For example, father sent little sister to the Mu family. As soon as the woman in the Cheongsam finished speaking, the corners of the man's mouth curled up slightly. There was an inexplicable smile on his face. Are you trying to say that if someone finds out about my little sister's identity and ability, my little sister will be in great danger, even if she is by my side? The woman in the Cheongsam wanted to say something but hesitated. Although this was what she was thinking, she couldn't say it out loud like the man in front of her. Back then, we were still young and didn't have the ability to protect our loved ones. Tenth sister, do you think that we can't protect her now? Asked the man. Fifth brother, that's not what I meant. The woman in the Cheongsam shook her head. I don't care if some people have taken a fancy to little sister's ability or if they want to achieve instant success or something else. As long as I'm here, no one can overtake me. I will crush their ambitions. The man smiled faintly. The woman in the Cheongsam glanced at her fifth brother. Indeed, the man in front of her was the most powerful among all their siblings. Even their father had praised him and said that he was a rare talent. However, he also had a common flaw that all geniuses had. Arrogant, conceited, and condescending. Hot book library. This arrogance had long been ingrained in his bones along with his ability. Perhaps one day, even a genius like him would fall into an abyss of eternal damnation because of this fatal weakness. Little sister was their father's only biological daughter. How could their father not dote on her? However, as powerful as their father was, he still didn't dare keep her by his side. Instead, he had sent her to the Mu family. This was enough to prove that even their father wasn't 100% confident that he could guarantee her safety. This was enough to show what kind of terrifying threat his little sister was facing. The world of evolvers was not as simple as they thought. His father did not acknowledge his little sister and let her live an ordinary life. All of this was so that his little sister could live a peaceful life. In other words, he could not let his little sister become a tool for someone with ulterior motives. Fifth brother, just as the woman in Cheongsam was about to say something, her expression suddenly changed, and she subconsciously looked around. The corner of the man's mouth rose slightly, as if everything was within his expectations. Since a long time ago, someone has been following us in the dark. It seems like they want to use us to confirm our little sister's identity, the man in leather said. Fifth brother, since you know, then why? The woman in the Cheongsam looked surprised. In this way, wouldn't he be pushing his little sister into a dangerous situation? The man in the leather jacket didn't have any expression on his face. He just said faintly, "Some things are mutual. Some people want to find little sister through us." At this point, the smile on the man's face deepened. "But I can also use my little sister to lure the snake out of its hole." Chapter 1207. The woman's expression turned ugly when she heard the man's explanation. This was her fifth brother's fatal flaw. He was arrogant and conceited. She had always believed that perhaps there would be a day when fifth brother's arrogance that was deep in his bones would harm himself. He knew that he would be in great danger if someone found out about his sister's identity. However, he had still done it. The man's eyes landed on Lin Yan, who was dumbfounded. He chuckled softly and said, "It seems like we got the wrong person. You can leave now." The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched. Did they think she was a fool? She had been eavesdropping on their conversation. Was she going to be in danger soon? However, Lin Yan couldn't figure it out. Were they psychopaths with powerful evolved abilities, or had they really gotten the wrong person? Lin Yan didn't think much of their threat. "Hurry up and leave." Lin Yan shot a look at the white crane. Before long, the two of them left as though they were escaping. Lin Yan drove to Himuyun's place and scanned her surroundings to make sure that no one was following her. Then, she got out of the car with the white crane. "Give it to me." Lin Yan extended her hand to the white crane. "What is it?" asked the white crane. "The money in my pocket." Lin Yan glanced at the white crane. "This." The white crane took out a stack of cash reluctantly. "Don't you know that I don't deserve a reward? I will return this money to that psychopath when I meet him," Lin Yan told the white crane earnestly. "Oh." Although the white crane agreed verbally, it looked as though it was saying, "Whatever you say, I'll admit defeat if I believe you." After entering the house, Himuyun stared at the white crane curiously. "Hello, sister." The white crane widened its eyes and grinned at Himuyun. Himuyun burst out laughing. "Whose child is this? What a sweet tongue." Himuyun glanced at the white crane. "Sister, I'm a child of the sacred land," replied the white crane. As she spoke, the smile on Himuyun's face suddenly froze. A look of shock and fear appeared in her eyes. "Go watch TV in the room," Lin Yan instructed the white crane. After the white crane left, Lin Yan glanced at the absent-minded Himuyun. "Mom, what's wrong?" "I'm fine." Himuyun shook her head, and a smile returned to her face. "That's right, the child mentioned the Holy Land." "What Holy Land?" Lin Yan sighed and replied, "It's a long story. It's a school." "Oh yeah. Mom, I met a lunatic who insisted that he was my brother." "Do I have a brother?" Lin Yan grinned at Himuyun. "Your brother?" There was something wrong with Himuyun's expression. However, he said, "Child, where did you get an older brother?" "Yeah. He even said that I grew up with the Mu family." Lin Yan quipped. "Mu family?" Cold sweat broke out on Himuyun's forehead. Could it be that the people from the Mu family had come looking for them? If that was really the case, who knew what kind of trouble it would cause? Himuyun tried her best to remain calm. "Where's the lunatic you mentioned?" Lin Yan shook her head. "They said that they had the wrong person and left." However, Himuyun did not let her guard down. She had a feeling that things were not as simple as they seemed. If the Mu family really came looking for them, everyone would be in big trouble. Chapter 1208. Himuyun scanned Lin Yan from head to toe with a frown. Lin Yan's situation was unique and complicated. It didn't just involve the Mu family. Even He Muyun herself wasn't sure. Only Wang Jingyang knew the truth. Wang Jingyang had brought Lin Yan away because he had a motive. However, once the Mu family had appeared, all his efforts would have been for naught. He Muyun studied Lin Yan, who seemed to be a stranger to the Mu family. Just as Wang Jingyang had said, Lin Yan had cut off all ties with them. This had nothing to do with anyone else. It had been Lin Yan's own choice. Xiaoyan, are you free these days? He Muyun's eyes trailed to Lin Yan as she asked with a smile. Lin Yan instinctively replied, I don't have much time. There's a competition. Mom, why did you ask? What's the matter? He Muyun replied, I want to travel and have some fun. If you're free, we can travel together. If not, we can wait for the next time. He Muyun pondered carefully and realized that she shouldn't have brought Lin Yan away. She should have told Wang Jingyang about this and let him decide. Mom, when I'm done with my work, we can go wherever you want. Lin Yan grinned at He Muyun. Okay. He Muyun nodded. Lin Yan didn't notice anything amiss. After Lin Yan left with the white crane, He Muyun called Wang Jingyang. What happened? Wang Jingyang's voice came from the other end. He Muyun seldom contacted Wang Jingyang. If she took the initiative to contact Wang Jingyang, something must have happened. Miss was here just now. He Muyun frowned. I think the Mu family is here. He Muyun immediately told Wang Jingyang everything that had happened. Wang Jingyang, who was on the other end of the phone, fell silent. After some time, Wang Jingyang spoke again. Are you sure about the Mu family? The Mu family's appearance didn't surprise Wang Jingyang. As early as a few months ago, the little fatty who ran at night took a video of them and posted it on the internet. Wang Jingyang was already mentally prepared, but he did not expect it to come so soon. Of course, the Mu family wouldn't harm Lin Yan. However, the Mu family wouldn't believe the truth, and he couldn't reveal it to them. Hence, if the Mu family found Lin Yan, they might harm her and the Mu family. No matter what it was, Wang Jingyang did not wish to see it. However, the current situation was indeed giving Wang Jingyang a headache. It was very difficult for him to deal with it properly. Are you sure it's the Mu family? After a while, Wang Jingyang asked. He Muyun thought about it for a long time and said, I'm not sure, but I feel that it's very suspicious. I can only say that he's from the Mu family. Otherwise, why would he ask you if you remember the Mu family? The person who asked such a question might not be from the Mu family. Don't act rashly. Report to me if anything happens. Okay, I understand. After hanging up, He Muyun's brows were still furrowed. After all these years, she had gotten used to being ordinary. Or rather, she had returned to being ordinary. He Muyun had treated Lin Yan like her own daughter. End of this chapter. Chapter 1231. Master? After driving for a while, the taxi stopped. Before she could check the surveillance footage, Lin Yan spoke to the driver. The driver didn't respond and remained motionless. Lin Yan was bewildered. She turned around and was startled by what she saw. The driver seemed to be sleeping. However, Lin Yan soon realized that he hadn't been driving due to fatigue. He had fainted. Lin Yan took out her phone, which showed that it was 7:15 p.m. Her phone battery was less than 3%. Perhaps it was because it was too remote, but the signal was very bad. She couldn't even make a call. Lin Yan tried all sorts of methods, including pinching the driver's philtrum, but she still couldn't wake him up. She didn't dare be too violent, as he was an ordinary person after all. Lin Yan felt uncomfortable in the car. She couldn't tell what was wrong, but she felt uncomfortable. Instinctively, Lin Yan raised her head and surveyed her surroundings. Lin Yan was startled when she saw the forest on her left. Although it was already dark, Lin Yan could still see 7 to 8 young men lined up neatly, glaring at her. Lin Yan didn't know if it was because of the cold weather or their cold gazes, but she shuddered. Lin Yan immediately opened the door and got out of the car. She lowered her head and pretended not to see them. However, she quickened her pace. Lin Yan wasn't stupid, so she naturally knew that this was unusual. It was strange that these people had appeared out of nowhere in the wilderness. Furthermore, they were all staring at her, which made her scalp tingle. Besides, Lin Yan already felt immense pressure from being stared at by those people. She found it difficult to breathe, as though there was a mountain pressing down on her. She couldn't even stand upright. The taxi driver must have fainted because he couldn't withstand the pressure of these people. Even an evolved being like her would find it difficult to withstand it, let alone an ordinary person like the driver. Evolved beings, Lin Yan broke out in a cold sweat. These people weren't just evolved beings, but they were also at a very high level. Lin Yan didn't know how high they were, but she was sure that they were dozens of levels higher than her. Who had she offended? She had just left the tiger's den and entered the wolf's den. What kind of sin had she committed? Couldn't they let her live a normal life? Lin Yan lowered her head and took a few steps when she sensed a shadow in front of her. She raised her head and saw a man standing in front of her. Before Lin Yan could think or speak, the man had already strangled her. She couldn't fight back at all. It was like the difference between a baby and an adult. Lin Yan's understanding of the power of an evolved being refreshed. The man merely raised his hand, but Lin Yan felt as though the sky had collapsed and she couldn't breathe. "Let's go," a hoarse voice rang out as an old man with a walking stick appeared before Lin Yan. Yes. Lin Yan was like a prey that was being taken away without any resistance. The young men followed the old man with the cane and slowly walked into the deep forest. Although Lin Yan was being strangled, the man seemed to know his limits and didn't hurt her. Lin Yan wanted to cry, but no tears would come. Someone would drag her back to prison. Lin Yan wanted to question them. Even if she was going to die, she wanted to know who they were. She didn't even know who they were. She suddenly recalled the conversation between the man who claimed to be her fifth brother and the woman in Cheongsam. End of chapter. Chapter 1232. Lin Yan could still remember the conversation between the man and woman who claimed to be her fifth brother and 10th sister. Someone had their eyes on them, and their target was their little sister. If this group of people were really the people that the man and woman had mentioned, she would have been wronged. This was an undeserved calamity. She didn't know the man and woman at all, let alone their little sister. Unfortunately, Lin Yan couldn't speak now. Otherwise, she would have explained herself. She didn't know what the man had done, but Lin Yan felt her vision turn black and she lost consciousness a second later. The group of them had only taken a few steps when they were suddenly blocked. The old man stood with both hands on the top of his walking stick as he stared ahead coldly. About 10 meters ahead of them was a boy who was about 5 or 6 years old. He was dressed in black and had a cold expression on his face. He looked like a tiger blocking the way. The little boy looked like he was carved from jade, but he made people shudder. His eyes, which seemed to be devoid of human emotions, made people feel very uncomfortable. The boy's eyes scanned the old man and the others coldly. Finally, his gaze landed on the unconscious Lin Yan and didn't move away. There were many people around the boy. There were men and women, old and young, and they were dressed in all sorts of strange ways. "Hey, hey, hey! Pei Li, let me do it! Let me do it!" Beside the little boy stood a handsome young man in red with a slightly ferocious look on his face. After getting the boy's tacit approval, the red-clothed youngster was surrounded by flames that soared into the sky. In the next second, the red-clothed youngster disappeared and was replaced by the tall man whose body was burning with giant flames. Evolved being, the old man frowned when he saw this. He hadn't expected an evolved being to appear all of a sudden. Furthermore, he was quite powerful and could even control the power of nature. Evolved beings had different paths of evolution. Some rare evolved beings could indeed control the power of nature. Who is it? The old man with the walking stick glanced at them and asked expressionlessly. Immortal and indestructible. Xiao Meng, who was dressed in a white chiffon dress, was holding a snow-white umbrella as she floated in the air and giggled. It's actually a child. The old man's walking stick shook on the ground. As soon as he said that, the man in fire descended from the sky and crashed into the old man. Boom! There was a loud bang that sounded like a muffled thunder. The old man didn't move, but a young man behind him immediately stepped forward and threw a punch. The flaming man was sent flying and fell heavily to the ground. Seeing this, the people around Pei Li furrowed their brows. What a disgrace, a great humiliation. Shoo shoo shoo. What do you know? I suddenly have a stomachache. The red-clothed youth, who had been beaten back to his original form, shouted. Listening to you boast gives me a headache. If you're not strong enough, then you're not strong enough. You're always looking for excuses. If it's not a stomachache, it's not a lack of rest, it's not a lack of rest, it's not a lack of condition. There are 365 days in a year, and you can find a different excuse. Remember, men, don't make excuses. The red-clothed youth frowned and said with a serious expression, Uncle, I'm only a child now. Without giving the red-clothed teenager a chance to speak, the old man slammed his walking stick on the ground. As if it was some kind of order, the several youths behind the old man immediately turned into afterimages and rushed towards the group led by Pei Li. The man who had grabbed Lin Yan threw her to the ground and joined in. Pei Li's eyes narrowed when he saw Lin Yan on the ground. Pei Li had finally seen his mother. If Pei Li was here, would Pei Qian be far away? Beep! The battle between father and son was about to begin. End of this chapter. Wuxia, you really can't do anything right. Suddenly, Chief Long shouted from the side. I say, Master Long, I just didn't stab him to death. Why don't you just kill him? Is there a need to hurt a child's heart like this? At this moment, Lord Long's forehead was already dripping with cold sweat. The red-clothed youth, Wuxia, was puzzled. Chief Long, is this old fart so strong that even you are sweating? As soon as Wuxia finished speaking, a terrifying and violent evolutionary force suddenly surged out. In an instant, Wuxia's body felt as if it was being pressed down by a mountain. Even his breathing began to quicken. It's Pei Li. Wuxia looked at Pei Li in horror. This was a sign that Pei Li had lost control. Damn! What's going on? Pei Li can't be losing control, right? Wuxia was so scared that he almost fell to the ground. End of this chapter. Chapter 1234. Xiao Meng, Chief Long, and the others looked as if the sky was about to fall. Xiao Meng flew far away with a whoosh. What are you waiting for? Are you looking for death? Run for your life. Retreat quickly. Chief Long's gaze swept across the crowd and he shouted. As Chief Long spoke, all the members of the unkillable and indestructible looked at Pei Li at the same time. In the next second, everyone retreated in all directions as if they had seen a ghost. They had seen Pei Li lose control. If they did not retreat now, they would all die in Pei Li's hands. After losing control, Pei Li was a true demon. The old man with the crutch and his subordinates did not know what had happened. They only knew that the evolvers who were fighting with them had all fled, and only the little boy was left in place. Kill! The old man with the crutch waved his hand. A young man took out a long dagger and immediately stabbed at Pei Li. The dagger stabbed into Pei Li's abdomen so smoothly that the young man was a little surprised. However, there was no expression of pain on the young man's face. Under everyone's gaze, the young man pulled out the dagger from his abdomen. Not even a trace of blood could be seen. The wound on Pei Li's abdomen had already recovered at a speed visible to the naked eye. However, there was a hole on his clothes from the dagger. This? The young man could not believe it. He had never heard of or seen such a sensational self-healing ability. The members of the unkillable and indestructible hid in the distance, but their eyes never left the situation in front of them. This group of idiots, they didn't even think about why we had to run. Pei Li is an unkillable monster, especially after losing control. Today is their bad luck. Huo Lai laughed. Not good. Suddenly, the little loli exclaimed, Pei Li's mother is still there. You bunch of idiots, all you care about is running away. Chief Long frowned. Hearing this, everyone looked at each other. At that time, they were so afraid that they had forgotten about Pei Li's mother. It's too dangerous. Hurry and bring Pei Li's mother here, the little loli hurriedly said. It's so dangerous, why don't you go? I'm a girl. You actually let a girl do such a dangerous thing. Are you still human? Besides, my body is very fragile. The little loli said. I'm not going. I almost died in Pei Li's hands last time. I want to go, but my strength doesn't allow me to. Don't say any more. Let's go together. Chief Long frowned. In the blink of an eye, everyone fell to the ground. The scene was so tragic that it made people shudder. The old man with the walking stick looked shocked as he stared at Pei Li in disbelief. How could he grow to such an extent at such a young age? Apart from having unparalleled combat strength, he was also completely immune to mental attacks. This kind of self-healing ability, what's going on? The old man with the walking stick looked at Pei Li, panting. He subconsciously retreated backward and muttered, this can't be considered as self-healing anymore. Is this a regenerative ability? Pei Li, who was out of control, had no defense mechanism at all. But even if the old man could hurt him, Pei Li's regenerative abilities left the old man in despair. Kid, your future is limitless. You've won today, but you've also offended someone you shouldn't have. After saying that, the old man immediately fled without looking back. Pei Li, who was out of control, didn't chase after the old man. Instead, he strode slowly toward the unconscious Lin Yan. End of chapter. Chapter 1235. Oh no! Hurry up! The undying indestructible team members scurried toward Lin Yan. Pei Li didn't recognize anyone now. If he hurt or killed Lin Yan, coincidentally, Chief Long and Pei Li arrived beside Lin Yan at the same time. Coincidentally, Lin Yan woke up. Lin Yan opened her eyes and stared blankly at Chief Long and the others, who had a ferocious expression on their faces. As Lin Yan woke up, Pei Li's breathing gradually stabilized, and his lifeless eyes regained a hint of clarity. Lin Yan panicked when she saw the bloodstains on the ground. She instinctively glanced at Chief Long and the others. Hadn't she been kidnapped? Why were all the people who had kidnapped her lying on the ground? Who were these people? The people who had kidnapped her were all high-level and powerful. There were also many of them. She should have only been unconscious for a few minutes, but in such a short period of time, these people had all collapsed, and all of them had extremely terrifying wounds. It seemed like the mantis was stalking the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. Were these people trying to snatch her from the old man? She was really, very popular. In short, no matter who these people were, they were definitely 1,000 times more dangerous than the old man's group. At this moment, Pei Li stood where he was, his cold gaze sweeping across the people lying on the ground. There was no need to think too deeply, he must have lost control just now. He couldn't let his mother know that he was the one who had done it. In Pei Li's memory, his mother didn't like him. Pei Li's gaze carried a terrifying pressure as he mouthed to Huolai, Chief Long and the others in front of him, "Don't scare my mother." Pei Li reached out and tugged at the corner of Lin Yan's shirt timidly. "Sister, save me." Lin Yan finally realized that there was a little boy beside her. The little boy's face and body were stained with blood. His pitch-black eyes were as clear as a summer stream, but they were filled with fear, uneasiness, and a deep sense of dependence. Lin Yan's head buzzed when she saw the little boy. At this moment, in this hellish place, this soft and adorable little boy was as fragile as an angel. She did not know if it was just her imagination, but this child gave her a very warm feeling. Instinctively, Lin Yan pulled the child into her arms and shielded him behind her. "Little kid, come over here." Without a second thought, Lin Yan instinctively assumed that this child was one of their targets. Pei Li hadn't expected that Lin Yan would suddenly pull him into her arms. His body stiffened and even trembled slightly. His mother's embrace was soft, and her warm aura enveloped him. There was also a nice fragrance on her body. After a few seconds, Pei Li extended his arms and wrapped them around Lin Yan's neck. He buried his head in her shoulder and scanned Chief Long and the rest. "Sister, I'm scared, don't be afraid. Just don't look at it." Lin Yan wrapped the little fellow in her clothes and covered his eyes so that he wouldn't see the blood on the ground. Chief Long, Xiaomeng. Huolai was speechless. The undying indestructible members watched helplessly as their ferocious leader transformed into an adorable little angel. All of them looked as though they had been struck by lightning. "Boss. You told us not to scare your mother, so you're scaring us?" End of this chapter. Huolai's knees instantly softened and he almost knelt down. So scary. Xiaomeng also quickly went into battle mode. For a moment it was difficult for her to even speak. What's going on? Is there such a powerful evolved being in the capital? Chief Long took a cautious step back and muttered softly, "It's Pei Yucheng, F***ck. Pei Li's father? Are you kidding me? Is my mouth blessed? He's really the god of heaven." Huolai looked horrified. Chapter 1237. What should we do now? Chief Long hesitated for a moment before he said decisively, "Retreat." "Yes. Retreat. Retreat. Run. Let the father and son fight among themselves. Don't let the innocent get hurt." With that, the group of people immediately retreated like the tide, and soon disappeared without a trace. "Boss, it's not that we want to escape, but we really can't beat your father." At the same time, a black car stopped not far away from Lin Yan. Pei Yucheng quickly opened the door and got out, followed by Xing Chen, Ling Yu, and Cheng Mo. Lin Yan relaxed the moment she saw Pei Yucheng. "Mr. Pei." Pei Yucheng scanned the evolved beings on the ground coldly before he hurriedly checked on Lin Yan. "How are you? Are you hurt anywhere?" Although he could possess Lin Yan's body, he couldn't succeed every time. If he forced it, he would need to expend a lot of mental energy. He had called Lin Yan dozens of times, but he hadn't been able to get through. He knew that something must have happened. His mental energy was only enough to support him to find her. It's fine, it's fine. It's just a small scratch. It's fine. Lin Yan replied hastily. Xing Chen was shocked. Sister Yan, did you deal with all these people? Lin Yan waved her hand dismissively. How could that be? No matter how powerful I am, I can't beat so many people. I was tricked into the Hunters Guild's prison. It wasn't easy for me to escape, but I was captured by a group of evolved beings. I was knocked unconscious by them. When I woke up, I realized that they had been killed by another group of more powerful and dangerous people. Fortunately, you guys came in time and scared those strange people away. Lin Yan explained everything that had happened. She felt exhausted, as she felt that life had been too tough for her. Ling Yu seemed to have noticed something in Lin Yan's arms. She asked casually, Sister Yan, what's in your arms? Pei Yucheng and the others turned to Lin Yan as Ling Yu spoke. Pei Yucheng had been focused on checking if Lin Yan was injured, so he hadn't noticed anything else. Lin Yan removed her coat and replied, Oh, I forgot to tell you. It's a baby. I saved him from those people. Pei Li kept his arm around Lin Yan's neck as he turned his body slightly. His eyes, which were as dark as the night, scanned the group of them. Finally, she fixed her gaze on Pei Yucheng. Pei Yucheng's pupils constricted the moment he saw the boy's face. The pressure that had just been withdrawn erupted again, and it was 100 times stronger than before. Ling Yu, Xing Chen, and Cheng Yimou looked as if they had seen something extremely terrifying. Their expressions were filled with extreme fear. Pei Li. Why would Pei Li, who had disappeared for so long, appear here? Cheng Mo's face turned pale, and he quickly hid behind Xing Chen. What's going on? Am I seeing things? Is that young Master Pei Li? I'm worried. Pei Li hadn't expected that Lin Yan would return so suddenly. The redness in the little fellow's eyes, which were about to break free, vanished. He stared blankly at his tiny hand, which was wrapped in a warm palm. His big eyes were filled with shock. Mom. Chapter 1239. Xing Chen and Cheng Yimou exchanged a glance as they watched Lin Yan carry Pei Li in her arms. Both of them looked fearful. They looked as though Lin Yan was carrying a ticking time bomb in her arms. Ling Yu glanced at Xing Chen and whispered, If I'm not wrong, that's Pei Li? Xing Chen nodded. I think so, although he did look like young Master Pei Li. This was the first time he had seen Pei Li act like an ordinary child. He hadn't even flown into a rage when Brother Yu had said those words. He even looked pitiful. There must be something wrong with his eyes. Ling Yu pondered this for a moment. I saw the people who escaped from afar. They should be immortals. How could immortals kidnap Pei Li? Xing Chen scratched his head. I don't understand either. According to the latest news from the headquarters, Pei Li had established the Undying Indestructible after his disappearance. He was the leader of this organization. Ling Yu pondered this for a moment before she scanned the evolved beings on the ground. I'm guessing that Sister Yan was captured by these evolved beings. Pei Li brought the Undying Indestructible entity to save her. Sister Yan was unconscious at the time, so she didn't know. Given Pei Li's character, he definitely wouldn't want Sister Yen to know his ferocious side. Hence, he pretended to be a victim. Xing Chen nodded repeatedly. That makes sense. Why didn't I think of that? Ling Yu replied, isn't it normal that you didn't think of it? Xing Chen was speechless. Cheng Mo wiped his sweat as he watched the two of them bicker helplessly. Let's think about what to do now. As soon as the three of them finished speaking, they received a warning look from their boss. Xing Chen hurriedly said, Sister Yen, leave it to Assistant Cheng. What's there to worry about? Assistant Cheng will take good care of this child. Cheng Mo glared at Xing Chen. Miss Lin, Xing Chen will accompany me. Lin Yen frowned when she heard Xing Chen and silent disaster. Why are you guys acting a little weird today? Why do you look so nervous? Huh? Really? No. Xing Chen and Cheng Mo felt guilty. Ling Yu sighed heavily and muttered softly, I don't think you should try to persuade him. I think it's useless. Little young master doesn't have to do anything. Sister Yen can't bear to part with him just by looking at him. Pei Yucheng watched the mother and son quietly. There was a moment of silence. After some time, Pei Yucheng seemed to have compromised as he walked toward the mother and son. Mr. Pei, can I send this child back personally? Lin Yen was worried that he wouldn't agree. Pei Yucheng walked over and squatted down in front of them. Okay. Lin Yen was elated. You agree? Pei Li glanced at Pei Yucheng with a puzzled expression. Pei Yucheng glanced at Lin Yen and said, I can promise you, but you're injured. Let me carry the baby. Pei Yucheng reached out to Pei Li.